switch over, which I've just done now anyway. So, welcome to Gehenna Gaming with Onyx Path running Onyx PathCon. Obviously, we are a whole plethora of writers and hosts from various different shows that run and talk about Onyx Path games, ranging from Chronicles of Darkness through to World of Darkness, things like Pugmire, Cavaliers of Mars, which you've all been watching and listening to, and a variety of panels. And of course, if you're watching this, please head over to onyxpathcon.com, where you can obviously find out about other panels and things running, and also donate to the wonderful charities that are currently listed up there, so you can donate to good causes, especially many of these charities are related right now to Black Lives Matter and also similar other causes. I can't remember off the top of my head all these things because I'm totally focused on getting this game running, but please head over to there. So I'm one of the hosts of Dark Days Radio, Chris. Hello. You may well know us from a very long-running podcast that focuses on World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness. I'm also joined by David.
I'm also one of the hosts of Darker Days Radio with Chris. We do the Dark Hammer series together.
Yep.
Love some of the other podcasts as well.
We are joined by Chris Allen, who is a freelance writer and developer for Onyx Path Publishing on a variety of games.
Yep, that's me. Wealth of Forsaken development, and on Victorian Mage from Mage of the Ascension, and writing on a whole lot of games from Werewolf to Mage to Changeling to Mummy to this to that and the other, and a few bits for other people as well, but this is the Onyx PathCon, so I won't talk about those.
Yep. And we are joined by Connery from Devil's Luck Gaming.
Hi, yeah, that would be me. I also write for Onyx Path. I'm currently working on a supplement that has been talked about. I don't think the title actually has been announced, but it's a Scarred supplement.
Oh, cool.
It's been referred to as Project Rust in the Monday meeting notes.
I'm still under some NDA, so I can't say anything yet. I'm waiting for things. And then we've got Nick as well from Gehenna Gaming.
Hi everyone, I'm Nick Francia. Yep, I'm the stream producer for Gehenna Gaming, and I'm also a freelance InDesign. I also design with Robot Studios, making supplements for Pathfinder.
Ah, cool. Yeah, also from our end for Darker Days Radio, if you are watching this and you want to read along as we play, you can actually download this scenario now from the Storyteller Vault. So you can read along and see what we do differently or not, along with all our other Storyteller Vault wonderful supplements that cover Chronicles of Darkness of all flavours. So with that out of the way, we will get started with this scenario called The Hunger Within. So, right now, outside a petrol station, near not much else other than fields and small roads, is Nick's character, who is a biology student who is looking for their sibling who has gone missing and hasn't been in contact for a few weeks. So, Nick, introduce what's your character like? Who are they?
He is a little bit on the shorter side, standing about like 5'7", 5'8", bit of a lanky guy, short, really like cut hair, that's been dyed a little bit. That looks like to be a hint of like lavender with roots still showing in. Definitely seems to be kind of getting out of his college phase. He's wearing your typical like shorts, probably actually cargo shorts because he's traveling, high top sneakers, and some sort of graphic tee with a backpack slung across his back.
Right. So the reason why you're at this petrol station is because it's the last place where, various bits of like CCTV, because the UK has so much of it. It's the only place that makes sense where your sibling, your brother, could have been last seen. And with a bit of questioning, while the owner or the person that was working the petrol station wasn't very forthcoming, someone that was just driving by actually overheard the conversation and did remember the night when they saw your brother, and how they gave some advice that the nearest place to go to at this time of night was the town of Kingswell, which is a few miles away, and they were able to call a taxi for him, and that was the last that this person saw. At which point, this person that you're talking to obviously drives off in a rush because they've got a car full of kids. It's August, it's late August time, and the kids are obviously getting a bit annoying and demanding, so that you don't really have much more time to really get more information out of them. And of course, at which point the easiest way to get to Kingswell is to call a taxi, and that's where you are currently. You're in a taxi, and it's driving its way over the rolling hills and past fields of cows and green pastures, past fields of corn that are recently or in the process of being harvested. In the distance is the church spire of St. Peter's that emerges over the hilltops, and just visible are the historic Tudor towers of Heron Hall. Heron Hall, from what you read from a small leaflet in the petrol station, is like is the main hotel, but also kind of historic site in the town. In the valley are the winding streets of Kingswell. It's a picturesque town and houses. It's got the typical kind of Tudor build to some of these homes, and there is also a festival vibe, because as you get closer you see signs about the festival. There's also signs about the best ale for miles around, or that there's the coming wolf festival, the carnival. This is something which the town is clearly looking forward to. There are also, as you go past, striped tents on one of the fields, because there's also a travelling carnival that's there as well. It has nothing, from what you can tell as you drive by, has nothing to do with the festival being run by the town. It's just happened to arrive there, such as any travelling carnival is like. And of course there's a smell and sound of animals and horses as you go by. The car rumbles over the medieval bridge and into the town, passing happy locals who are sat outside cafes, pushing trams. Could this be the last place that you saw your brother? You have no idea. So you're driven past various through the main street. There are various shops. There are various like antique stores. Some have got displays in there again, things like stuffed wolves, but they're not. But you get the idea. Or imagery of the Wolf Festival, imagery from decades past, people in period clothing celebrating the Wolf Festival over the centuries. But yes, it's a picturesque town. You, of course, as an American, are astounded looking around. Most of these houses here are older than America itself. And there's a town hall with a clock tower. It has a plaque. It was built in the 1800s. It's red brick and dates back, again, older than America. And there's also some information, like what can we say, spouts, like on a where you can take water, because there's natural spring water, because again this relates back to why it was a focus, a place where Romans perhaps at one point had a small settlement. But you are driven all the way to Heron Hall because it's your best luck to find somewhere to stay, and especially with it being so busy, because all the smaller B&Bs and hotels will be and pubs will be all have all the rooms taken up. And also perhaps it's where your brother may well have stayed the night. You have no idea. So you drive up the road onto the gravel outside of Heron Hall. Again, a Tudor manor house. There are stained glass windows, and you get out, lugging your backpack, and you walk in through the front door of Heron Hall, and before you is a rather old, dark wood. It's all lacquered. There's also in the front hall. There's also there's a tea room, and there are people sat there having tea, having tea and sandwiches. There's also a small library, and that is where Chris, your historian, will be going through, because there's numerous items and historical artifacts and things from various digs from ages past. Conran, your firefighter will be likely just having finished having hot stone treatment, like lying down, or whatever spa treatments, because there's a small atrium and there's various people that attend to the spa. So you've gone into the main hall to enjoy English tea and sandwiches. So again, it's all very quaint, but you're living for it, because later you're going to go into the main town and likely drink a vast amount of cider or real ale or something and play a game of quoits or darts. We have no idea. It depends where your night takes you. Meanwhile, of course, David, your long-suffering mother thought this is the best place to sit you down and give you a good chatting to about where you're going with your life right now. So, Nick, you enter the hall, enter Heron Hall. You head up to the main desk, and there is, dressed in a suit, is a young lady who clearly looks overworked, underpaid, dealing with all the crap that happens in this hotel. She looks up from a very old computer, likely 5-10 years old, but running Windows 95 to do all the bookkeeping for this hotel. And she looks up, pushes her glass up. Can I help you? Are you looking for a room for the evening?
Yeah. I need a room for the night.
A room for the night. Let me have a look. We might. I think everything's. I think we're unfortunately all booked up. The festival. I'm sorry. The festival. It's a very busy time of the year. We get so many people, walkers, going along Offa's Dyke. I'm very sorry. Can I help you in any other way? I could direct you to potentially. I could ring round and find another B&B that you could stay in.
Yeah, I just need a room for the night. Like just anything.
I'll have a look. If you would take a seat for a moment.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. So you head off into the main like lobby area, to the main tea room to take a seat, possibly get a cup of something to drink.
Mm-hmm.
There are various things around. There's a small gazette talking about the town. There's stuff talking about its history back to being a Victorian spa town. Right. So who wants to jump in next with what they're up to in the hotel? I'm going to pick on David actually because he's been quiet. So David,
I'm just looking at the sheet. Yeah.
What's the name of your character?
I'm literally gonna play myself.
Okay, great. That's even more fun for me.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff on here kind of fits with myself.
Your mother is obviously hitting late 50s, early 60s kind of age, maybe a bit older than that. Obviously, hair tied back, jeans, boots, blouse, cardigan. Looks very tired. Looks very annoyed at you, even as you sip at your cup of tea, eating sandwiches. When are you going to sort out your life? I mean, we've given you everything. You went to university, you've studied, you then changed course, and then look at you. You missed. You took a year out. And this year out is turned into 2 years out, and now it's 3 years out? Like, when are you going to graduate? We can't keep paying these fees for you all the time.
Oh, nothing just seems to fit at the moment. So I'm just waiting. I'll find something eventually. I just need to. Can you just stop nagging
like
me?
your sister, look at her. She's graduated. She's got a very good job working in Oxford of all places. Look at you. You're just a disgrace. And what is your father meant to say when he goes along to the bowls club?
Well, I'm not that kind of person, am I? I don't want to sit down and be tied down to a single job in a single place.
She looks you up and down and just sighs, completely depressed at how you dress, your long hair, your uncouth looks, your tattoos, the whole works.
Yeah. It's a conversation we've had many, many times.
Oh, yes.
Or it's going around in circles the same way that it always happens. It's, we're just buying ahead. So
Meanwhile, of course, Conroy, you are sat there. You have had a very relaxing lunchtime afternoon with the various spa treatments, and before you is a towering plates of tiered plates of sandwiches and small cakes and a big pot of tea. Um, how are you finding the town?
Um, two major complaints. One, there's no way to get anything after like 8 p.m. Everyone's gone. In the middle of the night, sometimes I want to just go and get a like bag of chips or something, and there's nothing. And two, what the fuck is up with the water pressure?
Right.
Nothing. It's like a drizzle. Just want to take a shower, and I have to feel like I'm going to sit there and just slowly cup this water over my head all the time. Other than that, it's nice.
There's also been you've also let's do the first roll actually. Let's do a retroactive awareness roll. So that'll be, what's that going to be? That's wits plus, I can never remember. It's been a while since I've run Chronicles of Darkness.
Wits composure.
That's the one. I'm glad most people here understand Chronicles of Darkness to the point that I don't need to even say what rolls are. Yeah, just make a retroactive one. See how well you're doing with things. So again.
Ooh. So that's 2.
2. Okay. Yes. So you have been staying in a room that's called the Star Room. Call that because the room is painted with stars. It's got a on the ceiling. It's a dark blue with stars, apparently dating back to the Tudor period, just as it would have been painted like then. And while yes, of course, the water pressure's awful. The you get a bit of, you've not really been enjoying breakfast that much. But the other thing is, it's not very quiet at night, and when I say not very quiet, sometimes you get the feeling that there's kind of rats in the wall or something else. It's a bit strange, but you've thought it's an old building. Clearly, it's going to have its issues, but you have heard things moving around, and that's just annoying for when you're trying to get this R&R, which your boss has sent you on this holiday with this time off because you need to recover from a very serious incident that you were involved in back at home, back in the US. Anyway, the historian is more than likely picking through a variety of things in the library and collections. There are glass cabinets filled with relics from the Roman period, relics from the Victorian period and before. Things like some old coinage or other old photos, and also descriptions of the excavations. So what you can do immediately is you can make a intelligence plus either investigation, but I think mostly it's intelligence plus academics, history, academics roll, which you've got. So you've got a specialization there that mostly is valid, and you can roll that now.
All right, let's see how this goes. 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, that's good enough for this. So what you've found so far, because you're researching the history of this town and how it relates to really just the entire area, which is the Welsh Marches, Offa's Dyke, all these things. So there's a few things that there's been Roman excavations. The Roman name for the settlement that was there back in time was called Malum Petra, which means bad rock. There's a newspaper article that's torn, and interestingly, you notice that it dates back to the 30s, and it lists a thing about the researchers, the archaeologists, and also that the excavations were fortunately funded by the owner of Heron Hall at the time. And you note that the owner of Heron Hall back then looked surprisingly like the current owner of Heron Hall, but obviously,
Family resemblance.
family
go.
resemblance, because that would be like his grandfather, possibly. So it jumps an age, and you only have to look at our own royal family to see similarities between people. I mean, we're not going to get into any more talk about what royal family are like with how they, how family resemblances pass on. The other thing you discover is an old. There's an old. There's an old frame. There's an old piece of paper in a frame which is a rhyme about the sanguine stones, and there's also a family tree showing the Snaiths and the Richmonds and their connection to the families of Kingswell.
Interesting.
So as that is going on, Nick, as your character is sat there, possibly drinking some tea or coffee, perhaps, the owner of Heron Hall, Mr. Richmond, walks over. He's got a thin moustache. Think Basil Fawlty, but actually can do his job and is not a complete asshole. He walks over, and he's got a suit on. He's got a waistcoat. He's clearly got some small badge on his lapel, which shows that he's a member of the local bowls club or cricket club. I guess cricket club. Let's go cricket club. Excuse me, sir. Can I? I'm aware that you were looking for a room to stay in for the night, and my employee is doing her best to find you a room. Can I take your name by any chance?
Yeah, sure. My name's Jamie Everett.
Jamie Everett. Jamie Everett. Excellent. Excellent. I will pass that along in momentarily to we'll help try and book you a room. Oh, by the way, are you here for the the spa treatments that we have in Heron Hall, or are you here for the festival itself?
To be completely honest with you, neither. I'm actually here trying to my brother might have came here, and I'm just trying to meet up with him.
And what's the name of your
Currently.
brother, by the way? Because as we're ringing round, we can always ask if they've seen your brother at any of the other B&Bs.
Yeah, I heard he was here. His name should be Tyler Everett.
Tyler.
Ring any bells?
He come with me, and he leads you back over to the desk, and he peers over the shoulder of his employee, who she's obviously on the phone, and he starts looking at the book. Cynthia, can you not see here? This room is actually vacant. It was vacant this morning. Excuse me, Jamie. We do actually have a room here for you. Given that, and he looks at his very nice Rolex watch. Yes, I think at this point we likely aren't going to have any other people turn up at this time. So I can provide it for you at a discount. I'd rather have you pay for a room here rather than you go to one of my rivals in the town.
Yeah, good business.
Yes, indeed. Please, I will get this sorted out. We'll take it's the red room, okay? It's obviously, it sounds very grand and everything, but by all means, we'll have your bags taken up to the room straight away. Please take a seat. Do you require lunch? Looking at the time, or anything to eat? We are still serving sandwiches. We can provide those for you.
Yeah, a sandwich would be great. I've been traveling for quite a bit, so.
Excellent. I will get it. Come on, Cynthia, you hear the man. Go over to the kitchens. We can rustle up something, by all means, a simple sandwich for him. And she obviously darts off. She doesn't really, shooting a look at her boss, not really happy with him. Obviously, everyone else, you are overhearing this conversation. You can make, of course, your wits plus composure rolls. You may or may not have heard of this name.
That's 2 successes from me.
Excellent.
Nothing for me.
So, possibly 2? Yeah, 2 from me.
Okay. So those of you that have successes, you recognise the name, and especially so for David, you recognise the name in passing from when you were at the pub a couple of nights ago,
Yeah.
like the previous week or so, and the name, the American accent, the name rings a bell. I think you were mostly drinking, trying to make some money out of the automated quiz machine. Um, and as for Chris, was it you that got the successes?
I got 2 as well.
Yes, you have obviously been staying at the hotel as well. You don't know what Harold Richmond is on, because you are certain that Tyler Everett stayed at the hotel, and
Yeah, okay.
you don't remember seeing him leave, but you are aware that he was there.
And is the owner of the hotel, just to check, is he the chap I read about in who I think has a very strong family resemblance to their grandfather?
Indeed.
Okay. In that case, I will, having overheard this and then seen the as the owner sort of himself shuffled off at this point, or is he still?
Oh yeah,
around the desk?
he's shuffled off. He's obviously mostly berating his staff and getting things sorted out.
Then I will very awkwardly kind of trying to figure out the awkward shuffle of someone who is trying to be slightly covert yet not creepy, approaching this American backpacker at the desk.
And how are you dressed, and how do you look, and everything?
So, he has the slight stoop of someone who is very, he's quite tall, but doesn't really want to seem that way. The slightly apologetic stoop of a tall but not very heavily built person. He's pretty lean, wearing pretty drab clothes. Wouldn't really look out of place anywhere, but also doesn't really look in place anywhere, and probably doesn't look very in place in a town like this, to be honest. You wouldn't really pick him off the street most of the time. He looked, his appearance screams bookish nerd. So sort of, that's what about. Excuse me.
And she's gonna look over. Yeah, what's up?
Sorry, I don't mean to intrude, and please tell me if I will. But you said you're looking for your brother, Everett, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure which was the first name and which was the.
Do you know him?
Not exactly. I'll look around. Make sure that the owner is not there, and that the desk clerk has also head off. Well, I mean, I may have just got this wrong, okay? Because obviously this guy knows it's his hotel. He may be a bit odd, but it's his hotel. But I'm sure American, right? Well, sorry, I don't. Yeah, of course, the accent. Yeah, I think there was a Tyler Everett here. Just these past few days, he was staying.
Like recently?
Yeah. He was staying at this hotel. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, maybe the guy's forgotten, or maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it's just a different Tyler Everett. But I mean,
that seems like a coincidence.
Well, yeah, I thought so.
Jamie will go into detail, like describing his brother to this man.
Presuming it matches what I've seen, then I would just nod along. Yeah. So it's a bit odd. Really, that I don't know why they wouldn't just tell you that. I mean, as I said, seems a bit of a strange fellow. And obviously, I don't want to cause any trouble for anybody.
No. Do you remember the last time you saw him? Do you remember where he might have been, where he might have gone?
Chris, do I have any sort of... Was it just seeing him in passing in the hotel, or do I have anything more concrete?
It was more in passing in the hotel, and that was about a week ago.
I mean, I was here a bit... I haven't been here the whole week, obviously, but I was here earlier in the week as part of my research, and I just saw him in passing. I mean, someone else might know more if he's been around. Presumably, no offense, but Americans stick out like a sore thumb in a place like this.
Yeah. Thanks.
Just pull in the tourists, but sorry, I'd love to give you some more help, but you know, I didn't think to talk to the guy, to be honest. Is he? Have you arranged to meet him, or?
Um, it's look, you look like a trustworthy fellow. Uh, he's been missing for a few days now.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, that's terrible. I'm terribly sorry to hear that.
so I don't know. Like sometimes he goes to these places. Like, sorry, that's not really my scene right here. You know, going to festivals and out
I'll
in the
be honest,
boonies and.
it's not really mine either, if I have to be honest. But if I'd known the festival was going on at the moment, I wouldn't have come now. But here we are, I guess.
Yeah, and he just like I know he likes to come to these areas, and I'm hoping like maybe he just broke his phone or something, but we haven't heard from him in a few days, and that worries me. He didn't get the flight back, so that's why I'm here.
When I hear the fact that the brother's missing, so Tom's missing, I look over, stop arguing with my mum.
She complains.
Give up. I just give up. I stand up and walk over.
She complains. She's heading off to a cake sale because she wants to win the prize for the best bloody strawberry cake, whatever. You get the idea. She's off.
Cake, particular.
She's off. I'm off. We're all both in a huff.
She thinks she's the next Bake Off winner.
And I just kind of come up to the Easter and go, sorry, did you say Tyler Everett is missing?
Jesus Christ, does everyone know my brother?
I don't know your brother, but I think I heard some people talk about him in a pub a couple of nights ago. So
what pub was that?
There's only pubs in the
there
village.
are lots of pubs in.
Okay, there's lots of pubs in the village.
You don't remember which because you were slightly inebriated. Obviously, at this point, Connery, your character, you will have overhearing this conversation, and given your line of work and so forth, it's clearly piqued your interest, I'm sure. Especially hearing a fellow American in distress, you likely are paying some interest.
I'm listening in. More concerned as to why cucumbers on bread is considered a proper sandwich.
Right.
Listening.
With no crust.
Baffling.
Jamie has his phone out now, and he's just, I'm just taking down as everything they're saying. I'm just typing away furiously.
Does Jamie have a picture on his phone of his brother?
I would believe so. Yeah, he pulls up social media. He's like, yeah, this is the guy.
And at which point, I think it's fair to say, Connery, you recognise that picture. Even you've got keen eyesight. You investigate, fires and arson, and seeing that picture, you're like, oh, now I remember.
Oh wait, that kid. I saw him around recently too.
Okay, don't everyone stand up at once now.
He's literally just walking past your table, not even paying any attention. He's it's not like he could have walked by subtly either. He's probably 6'2", about extra wide. Looks more like a one of those World's Strongest Man competitors.
Yeah.
And just almost in your ear without any couth whatsoever. Just, oh yeah, I saw a kid.
Matt, hey dude, I mean, sir, where'd you see him at?
Around, down at the bar the other day, I think.
What bar was that?
I think there's only one in town.
Oh no! This is a British town. It's filled with at least a dozen different pubs and bars.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what scale of small.
Oh yeah, this is a town. It's even a small town could have at least 6 pubs.
and all with roughly the same name.
From reading, the historian is aware that at one point the town likely had about 12 different cider houses, as well as about a dozen or so more pubs and ale houses.
Okay.
Well, if
Such
there
I will
was,
amend that then.
there was a spring
Uh,
here, you were saying, which would explain why.
It would explain a lot. Yes.
I will amend that then, and he'll say, "Oh, it was the one with the wooden sign."
Which narrows it
I
down.
just kind of grin and laugh at hearing this. It's like, fucking Americans.
With
No
that,
offense, obviously. But, yeah.
Mr. Richmond walks over again and presents a key to Jamie. Mr. Everett, this is your key for this evening. If we can take your card information, just so we can obviously charge you.
Yeah.
When you leave, you won't be charged until you leave, until you check out. Breakfast is at 7 a.m. in the morning, running until 10 a.m. We do not offer dinner free of charge, but we do obviously offer some light refreshments. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, what would be, if I was a tourist, what bar would you recommend I go to?
Oh, if I was a tourist, which bar would I go?
Or
Well,
you call them pubs here, right?
pubs, bars. Now, I'm the type of chap that likes a good wine, so that's the wine vaults. Or there's the Old English. Though, how old is your brother? If you, I mean, if he was here, and you want to, someone may have seen him. You could go to the Jack's Head, rather lively, filled with delinquents, if you ask me. But that's potentially where I would go looking.
Yeah, he's a few years older than me. Yeah, that sounds Jack's Head.
Yeah, the Jack's Head is a good place. Though, of course, there are many places. There's the Oxford Arms. I would try there as well. There's the Heron Wading. There's the Red Lion, and he just carries on. And there's a few smaller other bars and and so forth, pubs,
This is
etc.
the sort of town that has a little leaflet of "Welcome to this town."
Oh yeah,
Here are all the hot spots of the very busy nightlife until 8 p.m. In which case, if they, I'll sort of pull one of those from the little leaflet sheath by the desk with unfold the map. I'm sure it's going to be all in here, right?
yeah. That leaflet has a lot of other information. It talks of it has information about that apparently legend has it a local lord died during the English Civil War and now haunts the town as a tongueless corpse seeking his way home to the old manor, Heron Hall. There's also about the history of the church, dating back to Celtic times. Dating back to post-Roman period, so it has some local non-Roman kind of engravings which are very interesting.
And look, if you've got problems with your wheels, there's Monty's MOTs on Brick Street that can fix them as well.
There is. Yeah, so that you've got a fair amount of information you can pull from various leaflets, little booklets, and tour guides.
I am going to be very, very studenty here and go, so, we're going on a pub crawl then, are we?
Read my mind.
That's very good, given that actually in the adventure, the next scene is written, a night out on the town. That is how this story is structured, so...
No, I'm going to take these Americans, I'm going to show them how to live life in a small country village town thing.
If that is what everyone wishes to do, is to tour the town, tour the pubs, meet the locals, get a little hammered, maybe start a fight. We have no idea. That
Talk to
is
some
what you can do. And obviously the sun is setting. It's a warm autumnal evening. There's a warm breeze blows. The townsfolk are walking home or to the pub after a long day out. There's a sort of, as you're walking down the hill into the town, there's a sense of sort of calm. And from the hills, the sound, you can just about hear the circus, the carnival in the distance. There's laughter from the pubs. There are kids sitting about in small groups on benches outside the local convenience store, mostly a Spar or a Nisa, drinking White Lightning or similar cheap large 3-litre bottles of
30 pence for
what
2 litres
counts
of
as cider, but
antifreeze,
more or less
basically.
is antifreeze. There is bunting up. There are things about the Wolf Festival. You go past like the town museum, but that's closed. And there's there's various arrays of trinkets and so forth from various different periods of history. There's some stuff in there about how the town has ties to particular famous pilots that fought in World War II. And yes, the pubs are going to be filled with such a variety of clientele. Town locals, farmers, a few teenagers who are just old enough to drink and just or sneak in and not get asked. After all, the drinking age is 18, and some pubs don't care because it's for the greater good. No. So which pub do you want to go to first? That's the real question we want to know.
Which one's closest?
I suggest we start at the top of the hill at the first pub, and we make our way into town.
Is there one that's more interesting in some way, like a more interesting history than the others?
Oh, well, the first, if you're going to look for history, the first one you could go to is the Oxford Arms. It's a pub dating back to the 1800s, and as you enter, there are pewter plates and tankards as decoration, Toby mugs and so forth. It has its original wooden structure. Again, you know, it's not Tudor period, but it's still very old. Inside, it is it's owned by. Hold on, I've got various notes. It's owned by a middle-aged man who's got scruffy greying hair, wearing a checked shirt, very ruddy in the face because he clearly drinks and eats far too much rich food. And he sees you come in. And he recognises, I'm going to say he recognises the historian, because the historian mostly is drunk here because it's the nearest one, and it requires the least amount of walking back up the hill after a night of reading things. And of course, it has lots of pictures in there that date back to different periods of the history of the town. Evening there, fellas. How can I help you?
Some drinks. He will. The historian historian's called Carwin. He will have introduced himself somewhat meekly.
Oh.
He's somewhat overwhelmed by the present. Two Americans nearby is 200% more coolness than he is used to associating with. So he is, he's tagging along and trying to soak it up while not trying to upset anybody. But yeah, he will sort of go up to the bar and say, "Yes, drinks, definitely drinks. What can I get you, gentlemen?" Look to the Americans, not quite looking so much to the rich chap. Obviously, you are included in the "what can I get you," but obviously you are less interesting than two Americans are in this context.
And probably the antithesis of everything you like at the moment.
Yes, probably.
Kind of looking annoyed that we're having to do a pub crawl instead of searching for the resolution. Yeah, I'll take.
I can get you. You could be. They do like lemonade and stuff if you want.
No.
I asked for lemonade before I got Sprite. That was weird. I will have a half and half, though.
I will let the gesture to the chap at the bar to let him know. I'll be standing there with the wallet, doing the obvious awkward signposting that I'm going to be the guy who's paying without actually saying anything. But while we're here, we were just wondering, and I'll point at what's Mr. Everett's first name again?
Jamie.
I'll point at Jamie. This chap here, obviously come out of town. He's looking for his brother, a guy called Tyler. Would you have happened to have seen him?
I'll show him the photo.
So it stands out around here.
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't think he would have come in here. If you look at the rest of, and he points around the rest of the clientele, average age likely 70. They're all some have got flat caps on, look like they're typical British farmers or working in the town or retired. And I wouldn't even bother asking them. They're all a bit old duffers around here. I likely wouldn't remember him from any of the other kids that are in the town. Your best bet is asking somewhere like the Jack's Head. If he came in here looking for somewhere to drink, he clearly would have seen who was here and would have gone quickly to somewhere a lot more interesting for him.
Well, Oh, you say that this place is new. I really, this place is very interesting. You shouldn't
Oh,
talk yourself
thank you
down like
very
that.
much, Squire. Thank you very much. And he puts an extra bag of peanuts and pork scratchings on the bar for you. Least I can do.
Always pays to be nice to the man behind the bar.
So, Carl.
Think of then, lads. Let's go elsewhere.
You obviously sit and drink and are grateful for the time that you're there, but leave most really not finishing quite all your drinks and set off further.
Sorry, I hope that he'd maybe have come here because it's very old, and I don't know if he was here to see the sights, he might have wanted to come and see the old place. But
it's all right. And then he realizes we've never exchanged names other than them knowing Jamie's name. He doesn't know the other three's name, so he just kind of.
I'm Carwin, by the way.
Carwin?
Yes.
Like the words car and win?
No, the car and W-Y-N.
Sorry, I'm.
No, it's fine.
Carwin, all right, and looking to the other English gentleman.
Yeah, no, I'm David. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
This is not the usual kind of venue that we would frequent, but it has its time. Maybe now and then.
And he looks up at the big burly man. What'd you say?
Hawkins.
Yeah, you're American.
Carwin is trying to puzzle out whether Hawkins is the first or second name without having to ask.
Actually,
both.
you can, because he has the shirt he's wearing is it's got FDNY and a seal on it, and just above it in that machine print onto the shirt it says C. Hawkins.
Excellent. So, the Jack's Head is a much more lively pub in town. Again, it does have, a wooden sign that's a Jack's Head. But inside is exactly the opposite of the Oxford Arms. It is more recently renovated, plastered walls, which have lights fitted to it, which are very cheap, awful disco lights that are that will be flashing later when the DJ gets set up. The DJ is clearly going to be a maestro with his torrented music. And there are, the average age here is anywhere between, mid-20s to early 30s. They're the typical, the great British youth drinking, and you've got both genders quite well represented here. People quite clearly done up what they think is done up for a night on the town. And yeah, there's a pool table, modern music is playing, people getting a little bit too friendly, in front of everyone, but that's the type of place it is.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a place you go.
It's where all the youth come. This is where we all come to drink.
This is my kind of place here. I got this one, and he goes up to the bar.
So
don't touch that.
The barmaid,
just as you kind of go to the bar.
The barmaid is mostly in her mid-20s, platinum blonde, clearly wearing, like fake tan and gel nails. And she's got a very uncouth kind of accent. How can I help you, boys? We've got Guinness, we've got Black Sheep, we've got, what do you want? Oh, we got WKDs.
I don't know what half of those were.
This is what I need. I need 4. This probably isn't PC, but I need 4 Irish hand grenades.
You what? Irish hand grenades?
Yeah. Half pints of Guinness and 2 shot glasses on top. One gets whiskey, one gets Baileys. You pull the whiskey out. Then
sure, we can do that. Wow.
Nice.
She's obviously taken by A, your American accent, B, you're a huge burly guy, C, you're having very exciting drinks, and that clearly gets the attention of everyone else around as they see these drinks lined up and carried over to your table.
I'm
Wow.
Hawkins, you've got my kind of language.
Jesus, I still have to go find my brother at this. Like,
Are these safe?
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Here's what you do. The two shot glasses are actually like lined up side by side in the top of the pint glass. You pull the pin, and he pulls out the whiskey. The Bailey's drops into the Guinness. You take your shot, and then you pound this, and he just pounds the rest of the pint.
Instantaneous, just
There's
copying.
multiple things to ask at this point. Whoever drinks this is going to definitely have to make a stamina roll,
Okay.
right? To check whether you're intoxicated. And we'll see where that leads to.
A survival.
Survival check. No, just pure stamina.
Pure stamina.
Okay, this is not going to go well.
You might have some skills that help with that. There might be a talent or merit.
Ooh,
Sorry.
I have iron stamina.
There we go.
I have 1 in stamina.
Awesome. Good luck.
This is going to mess me up.
Remember,
That
if
means
you
it
want,
gets better.
if you want, you could spend a willpower point to add an extra 3 dice to this roll.
No, I like the fact that I'm going to get drunk really easily.
The power of peer pressure is going to get Carwyn doing something he feels he is deeply going to regret.
Excellent.
So
I regret it already. I just rolled a 2.
take the shot, look slightly shocked, put it down, and then try and copy what Hawkins has done and not really get that far into the pint for us to stop, pause, take a breath, start again. But I have got 1 success on my stamina check.
Okay, you passed. You're not intoxicated. You're feeling a little bit
Probably
like
not that intoxicated.
not
but
that
yeah, probably.
intoxicated. You still have your wits with you. How does everyone else do? Who else is partaking this wonderful drink?
I guess I will.
So David, you failed.
Yeah, so I knocked the whiskey back and was like, oh, that's strong.
Yeah.
Pick up the pint and just like,
Yeah, you now count as having like definitely a -1 on all dice rolls right now.
Ooh.
Though it might give you a bonus on socialization rolls because you feel a little frisky and confident in yourself. Yeah,
That's
obviously
what I'm
Hawkins
looking
doesn't
at.
care.
4 successes. Yeah, I'm good.
This is water to you.
1 success.
Excellent. With that, then,
Why would someone do this to themselves?
I'm assuming, obviously, you drink, you continue drinking your pint, you start talking to the locals, and I'm going to roll to see if anything interesting. Yeah, okay. So, Jamie, you're obviously clearly, you have an agenda. You're looking, asking around, talking to the locals, and as you're talking to someone, you get a tap on your shoulder, and behind you is another one of the patrons. It's like, "Oi, you been talking to my girlfriend?"
No, what the fuck are you talking about? Because he's already agitated.
Don't fuck around. You been talking to my girlfriend?
He looks
You
up.
come in here thinking you're all this, Mr. La-di-da from the US of A. Why don't you piss off, will you?
Hawkins, I think he's in trouble.
The only person I've been talking to is your mom.
Ooh, excellent. Right. This is where
I just
intimidation
walked up,
rolls are going to come in.
I'm going to try and calm the situation down. It's like, no, mate. It's not. He wasn't talking to your girlfriend. That was our mate over here, this big dude. And point towards Hawkins.
So, Hawkins, do you wish to perform intimidation on this person?
Yeah, because I think standing up would qualify.
Standing up would qualify. So I think we will use. Do you have intimidation or as a skill?
Presence intimidation sound about right?
Sounds about right.
All right, I have that. I can make that happen.
Excellent. Yeah, there. Okay.
Woohoo! Ooh. Oh, reroll. Another 4. Another 4 successes.
Nice.
Yeah, I got 2. So, you tap this oik on the shoulder, and he turns round just as he was about to berate Jamie some more, and he looks just at your chest and then looks upwards, and he's like, oh, you're with him. Yeah. Total misunderstanding. I've got no problem with you. Why not buy you a beer?
Yeah, that sounds about right. How does everybody feel about a beer on this guy addressing the bar?
Yeah. Yes. And so more drinking continues. At which point, of course, you obviously realise the night is carrying on, and you still have other places to go to try and find out where Tyler might be. So, let's see. You head off to, along the way, you head to the Heron Wading, you head to the Red Lion. Again, the clientele are more or less middle-aged. The Red Lion attracts more local farmers. The Heron attracts local shopkeepers. They're both typical British pubs. They've got wooden tables, gambling machines, jukebox, quoits. If you don't know what quoits is, you just got these rubber rings that you chuck to get over over some wooden dowels that are in a board and try and score points that way. There's also another weird game where you've got a ring that is on a string. You have to whip it around the pole that it's on and get it onto a horn, as in a sheep's horn, and try and get it onto the end of that. And you have to do it in the person that scores the most is it goes around the most amount of times and then lands on there. These are all real games in my hometown. So
I thought cornhole was weird.
yeah. And along the way, there is some banter with things. There is, when you ask about Tyler being missing, some people are like, "Well, you should go talk to the gypsies and carnies up on the up at the circus. They surely must know." They've been blaming him for everything recently. Like they said like one person was saying how he like lost his dog, and he thinks they obviously pilfered it. And the other conversation is reveals that one person does recognize Tyler, and then he actually didn't get a taxi. He actually had a hire car, and he got the local pickup truck for one of the local garages brought in that car with Tyler into town.
Wait, so he like broke down?
Yeah, the car broke down at that petrol station, and it was from there that the pickup truck picked him up in his hire car and brought it into Kingswell.
Okay, and do you remember where he might be? So, where's that car? Where's that garage?
He gives you. He basically says there's a Esso garage that's on the edge of the town that you can go to. That likely has that also has like a place that they car repair shop. So potentially it's there. Let's see what else is there. I'm just looking through some interesting things. So yeah, you eventually end up at the Wine Vaults, which is, Harold Richmond's favourite place to drink. And again, this place dates back to about the 1700s or older, and is exactly that. It's in a townhouse in the basement of it because it is a wine vault, as it would have been used. And inside is Jack Renshaw, who is got a big bushy white beard, almost walrus-like, and he's wearing a tweed jacket. And as you enter, he's already met Carwin before because you've come to the Wine Vaults. It's where it's pretty good, and also it has a lot more historical items on the walls. Things from farming, things from the Victorian period, and also some pictures. How can I do you for? How are you doing, Carwin? You got some friends here, I see. You been making a lot of friends in town?
Well, I mean, you could put it that way. Especially the Jack's Head, we made quite a lot of friends there in the end, actually. All due to Hawkins here. Yes. Anyway, sorry. No, I'm getting off topic. Sorry. Jamie? Do you wanna?
Yeah. No. Thanks. Look, I know this. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but have you seen this man? I hold a picture.
He looks at it, squint with his squinty eyes. Maybe. What's his name?
Tyler Everett.
Tyler Everett. Maybe.
Maybe.
I might have seen him up at Erin Hall. Yeah, a few about a week ago, I think. I was there with my old lady having lunch. Yeah.
Have you seen him like recently?
Not recently, no. I would ask Harold Richmond if I were you, but getting a straight answer out of that stuck-up bastard.
Give me fuck all, really. Yeah, he came into town. Guess his car broke down, and what do you know about these the carnies?
Oh, the circus. Yeah, they're not here every year. It's just poor timing. They've come along during the Wolf Festival. Yeah, I tend to stay away from them. You can't be too careful. The last thing you want of them is picking your pocket and making off with your earnings. I've already had one of them in here a couple of nights ago. I had to give him a clip round the ear hole.
Owen is looking anguished at this discussion, description of the travelers, but is not even slightly brave enough to say
Clearly,
Hawkins is looking at the two his two English cohorts in this little band he's got, and just like the look on his face just reads, really, this guy.
Colwyn's expression is like sort of helpless and like, yeah, what can you do, kind of thing. Like, he'll sort of say quite like they all
just mutter locals.
So while you're in here, Jack Crenshaw will pour you some drinks, and you can make some wits plus composure rolls, because this place is filled with cool stuff. Lots
and
of
once
history.
we are away from Jack, 2 successes, Carl will be, hand-wringingly apologetic to these Americans, seeing the less pleasant sides of small-town Britain, and the travellers get blamed for all sorts of things. The traveller community, and it's these little towns. Most of the people in these towns have never even seen a black person. They barely know the modern world is passing by out there, apart from, I suppose, the cars
That's
and
fucking
computers and
obvious.
things they have. But it's terrible. They still, whenever you get traveling communities coming through, they always get the blame for everything. Which ironically means they're probably the least likely people to be involved in your brother's anything happened to your brother, because frankly, they're not going to want the trouble of getting yet more things blamed on them.
Well,
they have a hard enough time as it is running the business.
Well, apparently Richmond knows who my brother is because they've seen him around here, but doesn't want to tell me, or is just too stupid to realize.
It's very strange. He's a very strange
Oh,
man.
give me half an hour with him, and I think I might be able to get some information from this man.
Are you some sort of torturer? So are you suggesting thumb screws or something?
Oh no! As much as I know that could be fun, but no. I'm going to be sensible. I know. I'm from this town. I know these people. I know how to ask the questions.
I mean, did you see him when he was arguing with his mom? I don't think he's got the torture bit in him.
I was mostly trying to ignore it. It was terribly awkward.
I find people
Welcome to my life.
I find people tend to be rather forward with what they have to say if you hang them upside down from a second-story window.
I didn't think it was.
Let's leave that till later.
Just saying, it's an option. Putting it on the table.
And
I
like,
do
another
like
beer.
someone who could do that, but the police tend to take a dim view on that kind of thing. Especially in these local towns, they get very bored with the 13-year-old drunks. So a big burly American hurting somebody, that's going to grab their attention.
I didn't say it hurt him.
Try talking to him first.
If everyone would like to
Tangle.
make their wits plus composure
Yeah.
rolls
0.
and see
yeah.
what we get.
I rolled 1 success on that before.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, I made it. I think I got. Did I say 1 success? I can't remember how many I
Okay.
said, but I think it was 1.
Right. There's some good stuff that I will explain. So, in the wine vaults, there is a picture, a photo taken of the renovation of the church, and the renovation of the church took place, some time ago. It has a note that the renovation of the church would not have happened if it hadn't been for the help of Brant Richmond for helping with the reconstruction, which of course you know from the family tree that Brant Richmond would be the great-great-grandfather of Harold Richmond. Interestingly, from this picture, it's a very early form of photography. Again, you can't help but notice the family resemblance between Harold and Brant.
You see, the problem with places like this is you get these families dug in for generations, and by now they're aristocracy and everything but name. Not because they necessarily have much wealth and power, but everyone looks up to them in the area. So this fellow, this hotel owner, he can be as weird as he wants and as difficult as he wants to you. No one will lift a finger to help you because these little places, it's all
They are very. Yes, this is why I left. I don't quite. I came back to see if I could patch things up with the family, but well,
it's a real.
So, I'm out of here as soon as I do a good deed.
The other thing you discover is that you notice is that there are some actual more modern photos of the church that depict some of the stonework and what looks like a maw or kind of a mouth with teeth. With wolves dancing around it, and apparently this is part of the old church, part of its tradition going back to when it was first constructed or reconstructed, of course, because it dates back so long. Anyway, Jack Brenshaw, puts down the drinks for you, and notices you looking at the picture of Brant Richmond. Oh, yeah, bloody Richmonds. See, Henry. Who was it? Is it Harold Richmond who currently owns it? He took over from his old man when he came back from the army. His father was, what is it? Henry Richmond. Never got on with them. None of them. Technically, that bloody all should be in my family, but so
Really?
it's all very complicated. Inheritances. Marriages, it's very difficult. I've not obviously they've been in this town for a very long time. They're married with the Snaiths that goes back that far. And we not seen. I've had a look. I've had to ask some of the other locals here. We've not seen. They've not heard of this Tyler. But people go missing around these parts, sometimes simply, or there's awful crashes. Have you seen? I don't know whether you know much. If you've driven past here, some of the kids around here drive like bloody maniacs over the overpass. There was only there was a death last week, a couple of weeks ago. We've had walkers be hit by bloody drunk drivers on the overpass before. Happened last year. Poor lovely couple. They were, obviously, walking off as dyke, stay here, and, go off on their walks, and you hear in the newspaper, hit by a car by some of these young hooligans. Terrible, terrible stuff. And he sets down, you've got basically cider. Very good cider, by the way. This is all locally made by a friend of mine out at his farm. All apples harvested and pressed locally.
Which, for any Americans who are confused by this, is an alcoholic drink, not apple juice cider, as I've seen some people in America get mixed.
No, we have
We have them.
Yeah, we definitely have them. That's all right. So Richmond's a weirdo. Is what I'm gathering from all that. What's the deal with this festival anyway, though?
the Wolf Festival, the Wolf Feast. So
Yeah.
he brings up a nice stool, sits down. Before he sits down, he brings over a bottle of port and starts, pouring a glass of it. So the Wolf Festival's been going on since Victorian period. Before that, I lose track. Anyway, it's an old festival. Apparently dates back to Roman times, maybe Celtic times. I'm not too sure about the ins and outs, but essentially, what happened it became the Wolf Festival, or known as the Wolf Festival, because it's a harvest festival, and we're giving thanks to nature and its bounty, and to God and whoever you want to venerate. I go to the church, obviously, if you know what I mean. I do go to the church. I make sure I do my dues. But the point is that the Wolf Festival is celebrating that and it got tied to wolves because also near here is what's called the Wolf Pit, and it was where they say the last wolf in England was slain, because there are no wolves in all of Great Britain because of this. I know they're thinking of reintroducing them into Scotland, but yeah, the last wolf was killed near this town.
We just sit there and do this in the background.
Yeah, you've heard all this shit before.
So it's like Ireland with the snakes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like the Irish with their snakes. Yeah.
So we obviously came here to see the sights, I guess.
And the Wolf Festival actually is tomorrow. So if you stick around, you're going to see a lovely, there's going to be a market, there's going to be stalls, there's going to be kids, there's going to be I think there's a float, they make masks. I don't know if you've seen in the shops, they make these papier-mâché wolf masks. It's a bit like some towns venerate the Green Man, and you might have heard about Morris dancing. It's a bit like that, but it's all very local to this town, and we cherish it. It's something that's part of our DNA, as it were.
Wait a second. The shit with the tassels and the bells?
Yeah, with the bells, bit of dancing to ward away evil spirits.
It's all just a bit weird. Old men drinking in pubs, dancing around, hitting sticks.
And what's wrong with that, you? Look, if you talk about that anymore, I'll be on to your mother about you, because you're old Susan's son, aren't you? I haven't seen you in years, since you were like, yay.
Yeah, that's because I left, because I got bored of all your old people stuff. So
may
you're
have
a bit
had
of
a
a wise
jazz
ass, aren't
cigarette
you?
while
But
I was
I kind
out.
of appreciate your honesty.
I've had a few. I'll just yeah.
I had a few. I've had a lot. Anyway, I'll leave you to it, boys. Have a good evening. And if you're into what was that, boy?
Yeah. One last question, if it's all right. So, say I'm, obviously I'm a tourist. I'm not from here, and you would be what would be the town monument? Where would be the super touristy place to go to other than a pub be?
Well, you've got a few places. You could there's the old church that's been of historical importance. There's a town hall. You could go for a walk. There's the standing stones, the sanguine stones.
Yeah, like you said.
They've got a bit of a old legend to them. They say so. They're the very ruddy stones. That's why they're called the sanguine stones, right? But they say that every morning at sunrise they roll down the hill to drink from the stream and then roll all the way back up. And then the other
You say that, but I tried that when I was young, and
it's because you don't believe hard enough, boy. You don't believe hard enough. And then there's
Obvious the rocks are shy.
Yeah, they're shy. Yeah. Or you're just not drunk enough, Then if you go to where the Wolf Pit is, that's not far from here. Potentially you could go to that, or you walk the hills around here. You could potentially even see the Devil Wolf. This they say he still haunts the church in the woods. This massive beast with flaming coal eyes. Load of bullshit, but gets the locals going. There's a few Roman ruins around here. I know you're from the Americas. That'll be something to see. Some actual Roman ruins, thousands of years old. We see him every bloody day.
Yeah.
Like my mate is always effing and blinding about when he's there, he is ploughing his field, and then it's just this bang, and it's another piece of this old pissing Roman fort he's just found, and it's just like puts in the museum. We're all happy for that.
Stones in a field. That's all those places. Stones and fields. Occasionally there's a sheep.
Oh, there's plenty of sheep, plenty of cows. Gotta be careful with the Welsh around them, eh?
Yeah. Let's not go down that route, okay?
I know,
So-
just friendly jokes about our neighbours over the border. They're like that about us.
So just folklore and
Oh, yeah.
bullshit legends. Got it.
Pretty much. This is England. This is what we
Village.
do in small villages. Make shit up.
So, the night is long, and eventually you are tired, and of course, the only place to return to is Harren Hall to rest. Except for David, you are retiring back to your parents' home. You've got your old bedroom there, a tiny room. They have changed it. They've got a bed in there, but there is basically
That change having a bed.
It's got
Kept under the cupboard usually.
it's just got all their knickknacks and boxes of stuff because they're redecorating the house. So obviously the room smells of paint. So
Yay. Drunken paint fumes. This is going to end well.
you're resting in the hotel. You're having a long drunken sleep, I'm sure, sleeping off copious amounts of alcohol. And let's see, who is?
I arranged to meet them at a coffee shop the next morning.
Yes. So Jamie, you are sleeping when you're having awful nightmares. You're not sleeping very well, potentially because you've been drinking too much, and also mixing what you have been drinking, which is not good. There is a reason why some people refer to certain types of cider in this town as got rut. But you get the idea. And you're in the red room, and it is very red. Like, it is disturbingly red. Does not allow for you to feel calm and safe. And it is just not good. So, if you would like to make a intelligence plus investigation roll.
Yep.
Difficulty of 3.
All right. I have a decent amount in both. Let's see. Come on. 3 successes.
3 successes. Excellent. So you've woken up with a start. You're sweating, and you go to get something to drink from the bathroom. You just drink a whole glass of water and then another one. And then as you're walking back to the bed, and from the angle and the lighting that's coming from the bathroom, you spot something down the side of the desk that's in the room. You crouch down, you pick this out. It's a small piece of paper, a receipt. It's a receipt for the petrol station. It's a receipt which has obviously blanked out the card details except for the last 4 digits. Those match your brother's bank card. You know your brother's bank card because you've been looking at details of his payments for his flights. You helped book him his flights. He stayed in this very room.
It was just vacated this morning.
Indeed. And then Chris, Cohen wakes up as well. Disturbing visions, dreams of wolves and people with the sound of wood being clanked on wood, bells ringing in your ears. Obviously, you've got a very good imagination. You read up so much weird history that this is sometimes typical.
And what the hell I drank.
And
American firemen just stacking drinks, and you put them in each other and you drink it. I'm so lucky I'm not dead.
as you wake up with a start, you see something glinting on the mirror. Something is on the mirror. You can see from what little light is coming from outside. You walk up to it, and you can read something. Kegahen Kagarach hungers.
Hunger. So the hungers part is in
English.
English,
Yeah.
And the Kegahera is a name,
Or
sounds
something, yeah.
Celtic-ish,
Yes.
some sort of Gaelic. Do I recognise anything about that?
You can
name?
make a investigation, intelligence plus, I guess, academics.
Yes, let us do that. That is a good dice pool. I don't think I'm going to get my Roman history bonus on this because it doesn't sound very Roman. What do we walk out of here with? 2 successes. Okay.
2 successes. That should be enough. Let me just find the appropriate. It's not on that page. So this translates, and you check it on your phone, obviously, as well. And you know some translation sites are not so good, so it doesn't take you long to at this time of night, you just make sure you VPN to the university and get some access to some old papers as well. It says it means the mouth of old stone.
And is this written? You said it was. Where exactly is this?
It's on the mirror, and it looked like in the light, it looked like it was blood. And then when you were startled by that, and you reached out to touch it and look at your finger, and then look back up, the writing is gone.
Ah, okay. Now that's going to have him seriously kind of.
That was seriously spooked out. And of course, Hawkins wakes up with a start in the star room, looking up at this field of stars before you on the ceiling, and you are certain you can hear something moving in the walls.
Get out of bed and walk over to the one of the walls. Just kind of put a hand against it. Maybe
And you get
a little closer.
You do feel like there's some sort of vibration coming through it. And as you're looking around, you look up at the stars in the ceiling, and for just a split second, a pair of those stars look like human eyes looking back at you, glinting in the night light.
Nope. Some of that cider must have been really off. Mushrooms or something. No, who knows what these people put in their fucking drinks.
Indeed, it could well be magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms do grow quite in prolific amounts in this area of Herefordshire.
He'll try to go back to sleep, just assuming that it's something off with what they drank the other night.
And David, you wake up, obviously suffering from awful dreams, and you think the best thing to do is head down towards the kitchen to get a drink of milk, water, something just to help calm you. You creep down the stairs. Obviously, it's an old house. You don't want to wake up your parents, and as you creep into the kitchen, you find there, crouching on the floor, is your mother. She's in her nightdress, and there's something dark. There's a dark pool on the floor, and a smacking sound of lips smacking, as if she's eating something. And then you see, drop from her hands, what looks like the rear quarters of the family cat. At which point you then wake up in the morning.
Kind of wake up in the morning, just shaking my head.
Bed, yeah.
Yeah, just like, you really shouldn't drink with Americans. They do weird stuff. My head.
So, it
Weird
is
drinks.
the next morning. It is the morning of the Wolf Festival. You feel not refreshed. What do you wish to do? There's obviously the circus is going on. There is the gas station with the car repair workshop, which you could potentially investigate. There is also there's the church you could go looking at if you really wanted to. There is all manner of places you can go to really find out more or ask around. The town is your oyster, as it were.
If we are, if David said, meet up here for a coffee kind of thing in the morning, Carwyn's original plan was to be terribly apologetic for how uncouth and backwards the locals were with some of their racism and bigotry. Instead, he's focusing on whining and complaining about his fucking hangover from the mixture of concoctions he ended up drinking, and muttering shitty dreams and rubbish. And he's not quite sure. I'm not quite sure whether remembering the Stonewall Hungers thing. Did I imagine that? Was that just a bad dream? Let's just assume it was a bad dream for now. So yeah, mostly initially complaining to anyone who will give half an ear about how shit I feel this morning.
Are you having a full English breakfast, something nice and greasy to soak up all that alcohol?
That's not really Carwyn style.
No.
A cup of tea and a couple of pieces of toast.
That is Hawkins style.
I can quite imagine Hawkins is going to sit down next to Carwyn and almost turn his stomach because you've got a plate filled with food, with sausage, with everything.
Everything, but he's very confused about the baked beans.
Yes.
Very confused about the beans. Those go with barbecue.
Is there a black pudding on the table as well?
Oh yeah, there's black pudding as well. There is black pudding.
He actually likes black pudding. That he'll get into. It's a meat product.
Don't worry, Tyler. Sorry, Jamie. If Jamie is not into that, there's obviously all manner of cereals and granola if you wish that. Hot coffee is obviously there along with breakfast tea. It's you're in another hut in the atrium, so there are plants around you. It's somewhat refreshing in there to be eating breakfast.
Well, I guess the only really useful thing we found out amidst all those drinks last night was that your brother went to this petrol station in his garage. Well, maybe he did anyway.
Is the receipt still there? And if I grab the receipt, do I still have it?
Oh yeah, you still have that receipt.
Halfway through my coffee, and I'm probably eating a granola bar that I packed myself. I slam my hand on the table with the receipt and just look at everyone and go, Richmond is a fucking liar. My brother stayed in the room that I'm in right now.
Oh.
And
David, we'll assume you will have arrived earlier as well to meet them for breakfast with coffee, because it just makes life easier with info.
I've got really thick, dark sunglasses on and I'm just rubbing my head.
Also, you've been weirded out and you've got things to talk about. So yeah, you slam down this receipt on the table.
Yes, no, you.
With the noise, just.
I don't have time with the noise. He said that the red room was vacant as of yesterday morning. My brother was staying there till yesterday morning, and they acted like they didn't know what the hell he was.
I will speak to him. Just let me have my coffee. I'll go speak to him.
I think maybe we should go and talk to these folks at the station, this petrol station first. I mean, if Richmond decided he's going to try and lie his way through this for whatever reason, I think you probably want to know as much as you can before you try and pin him down on it.
A question: did I talk to the petrol station when I was originally there about if they had seen my brother or not?
Not to this one. So you were at the original petrol station where he was last seen. This is the petrol station that's local to the town.
Okay,
that's a different place entirely. So what I'm going to suggest is, at this point, we'll take a quick 10-minute, 15-minute break there, if that's good with people, and we will be right back. And we are back. So everyone is still in Heron Hall, having the revelation of Tyler Everett definitely having been in the town, having been in that room, which Jamie has spent the night in, and the suspicions of the owner of the hotel, though you likely suspect everyone in this town at this moment. So where do you want to carry on from now? You have plenty of places you could potentially investigate, people to talk to. It's really up to you guys what you want to do.
You think maybe he like? Oh,
No, try Karen.
do you think maybe he, like it's at one of these like weirder places? These like, urban legends like the Wolf Pit or this church in the woods.
Well, I mean, be a bit of an odd place to go, wouldn't it?
I mean, anything could be odd at this point. I just found out, they're lying to me.
Well,
So
maybe. I mean, it's. Obviously he has his reasons for lying, whatever those are. I mean, it doesn't mean there's any urban legends at work. It may just be that he's done. Maybe he upset your brother, or or he's something more nefarious is going on. I'm not counting that out, but
well, I'm not saying like that. There's a devil wolf running around. I'm saying that maybe he's like he's known to do weird stuff. Like he could be camping at one of these places. Okay, all I know is he's in this town. Like,
yes.
All right. So you want maybe some actual answers out of Richmond?
at this point, yeah.
Okay.
Not the window thing again.
No.
That's
I'm
not.
not the window. Listen, I'm supposed to be here on a little bit of a vacay, but honestly, this is the most relaxing part of this whole thing. No offense that your anguish is actually kind of, I don't know. I like helping people. It's all right. But is Richmond around?
Richmond will be somewhere around, potentially dealing with people checking in or checking out, or he might be in the main office.
Okay. Is there any kind of service staff, like wait staff?
There will be, yes.
Okay, I'll call them over for a second.
Yep. So yeah, one of the staff members walks over with a pot of coffee in hand. Can I pour you another coffee, Mr. Hawkins?
No, it's actually rather rancid, and I'd like to talk to your manager.
I'm sorry. I'll get him straight away.
Right
and
now.
She shuffles off, puts down the cup of coffee, and moments later, Harold Richmond walks in. There's too many different names. Two H's in this. Yeah, Harold Richmond walks in. Prim and proper. Walks up to the table. Mr. Hawkins, I hear there's a problem with the coffee.
Yeah. Can you look at this? And he's holding the coffee on the table. Just look at this.
It looks.
No. Look at this, and implying he needs to duck down a little bit.
He looks a little closer. I'm not too sure what's wrong with the coffee.
Now I have Basil Fawlty in my head now, thanks to you. So I want Hawkins would like to wrap his hand around his tie and hold it to the table.
Oh wow! Let me. Okay, you grab him by the tie and you hold him there.
So he's kind of hunched over.
Yeah, and he looks you directly in the eye. What the hell do you think you're doing, Mr. Hawkins?
Having a cup of coffee. Take a sip of coffee. Put it down. Asking you a few questions.
Okay, let's make a contested strength plus. I'm trying to think. I guess we count brawl in this to break free. So let's just do a contested on that.
Strength. strength brawl. Would you consider this a grapple?
Indeed.
Okay, that's a specialty.
Owen looks absolutely horrified.
So does everyone else having breakfast right now.
Just pull the glasses down off my eyes and just kind of staring at it, going.
This is called the Belushi technique. 3 successes.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, you still hold him there as he kind of struggles against you. Coffee and tea get spilt on the table as the struggle continues. Get your goddamn hands off me, man.
Well, that honestly, the result of that depends on if you answer my countrymen over here appropriately.
Can I
So,
add to this? Can I lie and say you might want to? So up to Henry Harold, whatever his name is. Say,
Mr.
you
Richmond.
might, yeah, Mr. Richmond. You might want to listen to this guy. He's well known in the MMA circuit. He's a bit of a bruiser, a bit of an argumentative one. So you might not want to piss him off.
literally taking sips of coffee while he's holding the tie to the table.
Excellent.
Owen is not laughing, but I am.
So just trying to convince Mr. Richmond that Hawkins is actually could be quite a nasty man if it all goes wrong.
So, what does Jamie ask or say?
I think the character sheet says it really right. In his quote, he's gonna get down really low and like look at me and go, "Where the fuck is my brother?"
As I said, from the books, it looked like he stayed here and then he left.
He was in the red room. I know.
Yes, I think perhaps I would need to check the books. He may well have been in there. I think we may well have put him there.
The room that conveniently was vacated the morning I came here.
It wasn't conveniently vacated. There was a bookkeeping mistake by my staff. They're all young and incompetent, some of them. I can only offer you my sincere apologies for this.
Are you a coffee drinker or a tea drinker, Mr. Richmond?
I don't think that has anything to do with this matter. Now, please unhand me.
You can answer the question, that's all. Tea or coffee?
It would be tea, Mr. Hawkins.
Okay. He pours a cup of tea and starts pouring it down the back of his neck. You're not doing a very good job of answering my friend's questions.
So as I told you to listen and answer the questions, he's a bit of a nut job.
Interesting.
Anarchy
We
in
should
the
really
UK.
make another contested roll at this point if it's getting like that.
Is it possible to like that I could tell that he's lying?
Yeah, we will do this contested roll and then we'll see how
Okay.
you read his entire,
Let me see.
composure and his, his mannerisms and so forth.
Kind of reason.
Oh,
Oh,
we just
I,
torturing
Breathing
some
in
poor
pain.
guy.
I have some really good resources, so I'm going to add 3 dice to this by
Oh.
spending willpower. Oh, oh my.
We just hurt somebody.
How many successes is that?
Just throw him out.
6.
Jeez.
Jesus.
It was a 9 die pool.
Wow. Yeah, you're now on your feet with Henry Richmond because you're grappling and you're stood up as you're holding him still by the tie.
I want it
And
to look
pouring
as
tea down
casual as possible, though. At the same time, like he's holding the tie, basically just holding it down and just making him stand in the most just awkward kind of position I can possibly put him into, while I look as casual as possible.
Yeah, and as for reading whether he's lying or not, that would be, I guess, a wits plus empathy.
I'm going to spend a willpower for this. Just because it seems like the right thing to do. All right, that was the right thing to do. 2 successes.
Okay, yeah, he is. You get the distinct feeling that when he says that it was the staff who did it as a bookkeeping error, he's definitely lying on that part.
So Hawkins is looking to Jamie, basically waiting for the cue when Jamie's satisfied.
You have various staff members now moving towards you. Some of the actual some of the men who work there, people that are a bit larger, burlier. There's even at this point they've called the groundskeeper, who looks like he's definitely ex-army. Got a good mustache and his shirt rolled up, and he's walking over with. He still has his shovel in hand.
I will stand up and be sort of trying to move between whoever the most, the person who looks the most determined to come in and see. And then, he's doing the stream of, I'm sorry, there's some sort of misunderstanding. They're Americans. You have to make allowances for their culture. I'm sure this will all be fine. Mr. Richmond's going to be completely fine. And he's just giving that stream of, whatever the hell is coming to his head.
If you don't unlearn Mr. Richmond now, we'll be calling the police on you lot.
Well, maybe
He's lying.
Maybe you should. Have you considered that maybe Mr. Richmond doesn't want to see the police turn up here? And he's going to pivot on the moment of that and go like, well, maybe the police should be coming because apparently Mr. Richmond has been keeping information away from people who are turning up here and maybe cooking the books. Are you sure you want the police here?
Well, that'll be up to Mr. Richmond, who gives the nod. Call the police. Call the sergeant now. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about these uncouth individuals.
Off you go then, do what he said. Go and call the police. And kind of hoping that someone will actually go and do that so they won't intervene with this and let the Americans do whatever the fuck they're doing.
He's lying.
Okay. Please. And I'm going to say this with the most sincerity I can come up with. Answer the fucking question and we're done.
Yes, your brother did stay here, but after he left, he checked out a couple of days ago and we haven't seen him since.
Why would you be lying?
I haven't lied about any of this. I'm simply trying to cover my incompetent staff here. I'd like to keep the reputation of this hotel and how it operates. The last thing I need is the mistakes made by my staff bringing down the reputation of this fine establishment.
I'm going to whisper in his ear, one more word of horse shit out of your mouth, and the entire tree of sandwiches is going up your ass. Answer the question with the truth.
What I've said is the truth of the matter. Now, if I'm correct, the police will be here soon enough to deal with you. Unless you let go of me, I'm sure the constable will have a lot to say about you.
Not soon enough to stop you from getting thrown out this window.
You also have now some of the other... you have the staff now moving towards you and pushing past the historian, pushing past Carwin. Clearly,
not a good
you're not putting
barrier
up a
of any
fight.
kind, no.
As soon as they go to as soon as he's able to read that they're going to move past my my bulwark that is Carwin, he'll let him go, dust off his adjust his jacket.
Excellent.
The
Straighten the
tea
tie.
stain down the back.
Straighten the tie, give him a napkin, dab the napkin on the back of his neck, and just say, Just want to let you know this is going to be going into my strongly worded Yelp review.
Yeah. I was about to say Yelp review, but I could feel it coming. Right. Yes.
Can I get up? Sorry. Something which might prove useful later. But I want to get up and pretend to stumble as if I'm trying to go to the toilet because I'm feeling ill. I want to stumble past him and see if I can pickpocket some keys from him so we can maybe get into the offices later if we need to.
Yeah, you can do this kind of retroactively when he was like, being pinned down on the table. You could do it then
Yeah.
if it makes more sense, because I think that makes sense to do that. So, you just need to make a Dex plus larceny roll.
Larceny? Because I have specialization in pickpocket?
Well done.
Remind me special.
Somebody's been a naughty boy.
What
So-
university were you going to?
Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speciality gives you an extra die to the die pool. Remembering that 10s explode as well.
That's a big fat 0.
Then you wouldn't have. But there's no reason why you couldn't check whether the office is still open.
As I stumble past, I kind of try and glance around, see if there's anything, see if the office is open and stuff. But
Yeah, I mean, with the commotion going on, you could actually have time to like walk away and head towards the managerial office and try the door. You never know your luck.
yeah, I'll do that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact is, it is open because, of course, they called over Mr. Richmond while this was all going on, so he didn't have time to close the door to lock it behind him. And you go in there while you can hear outside the argument going on. What do you do in there? I mean, you've got to be quick. Before the police arrive and before Mr. Richmond is obviously let go. So you've got the best part of like literally about a minute or so to deal with stuff here.
What's in the room?
There is a desk. There is a bookcase. There is on the wall. There are things like Richmond's degree from whichever university. There's also possibly like a graduation certificate or something from a very prestigious private, public school nearby. Things like that. There's also his golf clubs.
I want to quickly rifle through any kind of paperwork or anything that might relate to, see if I can find anything that relates to the Red Room, its occupants, maybe if there's anything from Tyler on there, like names and stuff.
Yeah, I think just you can make a Dex plus larceny roll because you might try one of the desk drawers, and given the age of them, you might be able to like pry them open using just a paperclip that's lying around. You're that type of person, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got 3 on that one.
Okay, yeah. You open up the drawers and you find in there a certain bank card and some keys, which the keys has a tag on it which says Hertz on it, which is obviously a particular brand of hire car.
Cool. I will pocket those and out the room quickly as I possibly can. I shut the drawer that I found those in, and then kind of head to the toilet.
Yeah. And of course, by the time you've done all of that, and everyone else, the rest of you are led back into the lobby because Miss Richmond is ensuring that all your possessions are gathered from your rooms and you are being checked out of the hotel. He's not going to charge you, obviously, for this misunderstanding. Is there anything you want to do while you're in the lobby and near the library, kind of, and the cases while you're waiting for your things to be
Carwyn
gathered?
will look longingly at the library, and the fact I'm not really going to be able to get back to it, but I'd already done a lot of the studying there that I was planning to do, I think.
Yeah.
it's not in the time scale. It isn't really impossible to then go like, quickly look up these new things I've discovered and then research them really quickly in 5 minutes. So he's going to look longingly at them, but generally look very glum and still slightly pumped up on adrenaline, despite no violence on his part at all by everything that's gone on.
Excellent. Okay, fine. Yes. Okay. So eventually, your bags are brought to you, and your keys are requested to be returned. I'm sure, David, you exit the toilet.
Yeah, I come out of the toilet and just kind of see.
And as you've
like, what the fuck?
As you've been waiting for your bags, obviously you hear outside a car pull up, and 2 police officers exit and walk up to the main desk, looking for Mr. Richmond, who points out you lot. I believe these individuals, we had a misunderstanding. Things have been resolved now. They will be leaving this establishment in due course, and their fees with this hotel have been settled already, and they will be leaving this town in due course.
Listen, once I'm out of this door, you don't get to say shit about where I go. I'm an American. I know freedom.
Yes, well, your freedom is worth very little around these parts. And of course, if you ask me, most Americans are nothing more than simple thieves and prisoners who got away from the Queen, got away from good old English rule. Now, if you please like to vacate my hotel.
Oh, so now that you got a couple of heavies here, now you can start throwing that kind of shit around. I see how it is. I see.
I walk up to Hawkins and just like, just let's just try and fail probably miserably, but kind of try and manhandle.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
I swear.
Feel like a slab of.
He's basically letting Dave push him out.
Yeah.
But as over his shoulder, you'd be speaking German right now if it wasn't for America.
No.
As they get out, Jamie's just kind of like, as they sit out there, be like, I swear, when I get home, I'm dumping all my tea into the fucking harbor.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what Hawkins was doing to his jacket. I can't believe you did that.
Thanks, Hawkins.
So, where are you going to go next? What is your plan? You now have nowhere to stay, and you're still looking for Tyler. And as you may well, with your belongings, possessions, you walk down the hill into the town, and of course, the town has its festival running. As I said, there's various stalls, there's markets, there are people dressed up. You can hear the bells ringing from the town hall. So people are actually doing like actual bell ringing. You pass the primary school, which again has things going on, a little fete for children under the age of 10. There's a small petting zoo, which is just basically sheep and goats and like pigs. You get the impression it's a quaint little town having its festival, and obviously people walking around trying to frighten other people in their papier-mâché wolf masks.
As we're kind of walking down the hill towards the town, I do turn around and say, you could possibly, I don't know, we could drop your bags off at mine. I'm not sure how my parents would feel about people staying, but I'm sure
I just have my backpack.
we can drop your stuff off, and then we can try and sort out somewhere to stay later. But I did find something in the hotel. It's well, you were having your fun, Hawkins. Shame I missed it. It looked quite fun. I managed to.
Was the fact that he stopped and carefully added the sugars to the tea before he poured it down his throat. the cold-blooded calculations of this man.
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he?
I like myself a scrap. What can I say?
Yeah, I managed to get into the office and the drawers work, shall we say? They fell open, and I found this card, and this credit card, and it's got your brother's name on it, and
What?
keys. They were in the drawer, and I hand both over to.
Oh my god. He like my he like did he kidnap it? Is my brother safe? Like, is he okay? Did he kill him? I swear to God, I'll burn down that fucking hotel. Hawkins will help me burn
with a
it down.
lighter as well.
I do have suggestions on how to make it look like an accident if that should happen. Just saying.
What is going on here?
This is why I don't like to come back to this place. It's
Because it's full of murderers.
it's wrong.
Is he?
Is
Oh,
your-
wait, so he's got your brother. I mean, yes, much as I don't dislike that idea, looking increasingly like we're dealing with some new. I mean, has he buried your brother under the moors somewhere, kind of guy?
So I'm like, I don't
God.
know what, like, has anyone ever disappeared from this place before, David?
Well, they were saying all those people were getting caught in car accidents.
Yeah.
Well, nothing springs to mind, but I've not been back in 6 years, so this is
You grew up here.
weird
though.
town.
Like, nothing ever seemed weird to you?
Is the town very
We grew up here,
accident-prone?
so it was always just normal. It's only since coming back and having spent time in the city that this place actually is weird. These people are backwards.
As you're walking through the town, possibly towards David's family home to drop off bags and everything, there is a juggler who is obviously juggling balls going through, and as he's got a little sign around his neck that says the Blue Moon Circus of the Strange and Fantastical. This is clearly the circus that's outside of town.
Okay, it's the only place we haven't gone yet.
Frankly, they're sounding like I'd rather be hanging out with the travelers than the lunatics.
Yeah,
running
because
hotels
apparently they're the
here.
normal ones here.
Well, we haven't gone to the church. We haven't looked at the wolf pit
Oh, well,
thing, whatever. Let's drop off our bags and head in the is the where the travelers are. Where do they usually camp out? Is it anywhere near the the church or the wolf pit?
It's on the other side of town to the church. The wolf pit is a lot further away from the church, so you could split up and go either way, or you can go. It wouldn't take you much to go from one end of town to the other. I mean, you can walk.
Okay.
It's walkable, but it would take up an hour each way, walking from one to the other.
We got nothing else to do today.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is just getting weirder and weirder.
So who wants to go to the circus and who wants to go to the church?
Well, I think I can go to the church and the wolf pit because I will know where they are.
Yeah.
I can lead whoever's going to go there. I'm guessing the circus is probably quite obvious on the hill.
Yeah. And it's, as I say, it's a wonderful sunny day. It's a wonderful autumn sunny day. If it wasn't for the weirdness going on, it'd be a lovely, lovely holiday. So, assuming David's going up to the church, who else wants to go to the church?
I'll go with the church with David.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Carwin will go with wherever the bulk of people are going because he's getting thoroughly weirded out.
So you head off to the church. It takes you about 20 minutes to walk up a hill because it's it's up a hill, then up another one. This church is not an actively used church in the sense that it's not used for weddings and so forth, but it is still it's still considered holy ground. It's still considered under possession of the Church of England to use if they wished. And given it's a tourist hotspot and place of historical note, it's open, though it has a little box outside that's for donations. It's not very large. It's possibly at most 20 meters long. 20 meters long. That sounds about right. Maybe less than that even. And it's very sparsely decorated. Outside there are old tombstones. There are some. Burial coffins, like stone coffins, that would be above ground that have inscriptions on them that are long worn away. And inside, there's a very beautiful stained glass window, which is, well, it would be beautiful if it had better maintenance. And of course, Carwin, you recognize, you look at on the outside around the archway of the entrance, you see the imagery of the wolves around the moor, and other emblems of wolves, all to do with other gargoyles, or other Christian symbols of like slaying of dragons and so forth. Okay, you can make intelligence plus investigation rolls because there's no one else around in the church at this moment. Mostly because they're busy down at the festival. They've simply opened up and hoping people just, leave donations at this location.
Yeah. So while we're poking around, to Jamie, just like, I suppose we're looking for any. Is this the kind of place your brother would come to? Do you think? Is this his kind of interest?
Yeah, I mean, he likes weird stuff. Like, he likes to travel, so I figured that like anything that would stand out, including a creepy church, he'd probably like.
0 successes from me.
0.
Yes.
Anyone else?
What was the roll again?
It would just be intelligence plus investigation.
Okay.
One success for me.
Yeah, I got 1 success, and I'm going to just say it's like I'm feeling very, very tired from having walked up these hills to get up here. It's like I've got 1 stamina, so he's like hungover. He's like,
Come on.
3 successes.
Excellent. Okay, so you're looking around. You're looking at some of the cabinets, which have pictures again from old, from weddings. I think there's even a picture of when Lady so-and-so visited back in 1970, and they had a little garden party at Heron Hall and so forth. And you find a picture that's the same picture from the wine vaults, the picture of Brant Richmond, and to do with the renovation of the church. And yes, that is how that really does look like Harold Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a difference in hair length, but otherwise looks almost identical in the face.
Does
really good plastic surgery.
A lot of inbreeding.
I was about to say, does your town here have like 5 genes to pass amongst you?
That's pushing it. I'd say 4.
Oh, okay.
Frankly, I'm surprised the man has any chin at all.
But it's really quite. That's not. I don't know. It's just that doesn't look right, does it? Something going on here. I don't know what it is.
What?
Maybe he's trying to look like his ancestor. Maybe it is plastic surgery. The other way, he's trying to make himself. I don't know.
He's rather rich, and I don't know. They do weird stuff, but
this guy in particular does seem very odd.
Shit. I just realized I have 9 agains on a few things. Sorry.
Oh, right. Anyway, there isn't much more you can get out of looking around the church. That's really the one thing that stands out as odd.
How long has Richmond been in this town for?
From what you remember from conversing with Jack Renshaw in the wine vaults, he remembers what you were told is he remembers that Harold Richmond took over from his father, and that he returned from living in Scotland, having previously been in the army, and so took over from his father, Henry Richmond. Yeah.
But still no Tyler.
It's a bit odd that you never see any wives in the pictures or anything. I mean, sorry, no, I know that seems a bit out of left field. It's just usually when you have these local kind of mini aristocracies, right? It becomes very important who's married to who, and yada yada, and this and that, and you have these equally odd-looking women in the pictures looking slightly awkward. And these Richmonds, it's always about the patriarch of the family, I guess.
That's a very good point. You could. Oh, you got a 0 on your investigation roll. That was
Yes.
unfortunate. There's a very good point, though. It would have been good to follow up, but unfortunately, it's mostly a thought that comes into your head as you're walking away, heading back towards the town. Potentially, I would imagine you'll want to head towards the circus next, or do you want to go for the wolf pit? I mean, the wolf pit you can walk to would be another half hour out of the town in that direction, take you even further away from the circus.
Leave it
If
to
you
the
wanted
local choice.
I mean, it seems like the circus probably, and then
Oh, frankly, if he's lucky, he got there away from the lunatics in Kingswell itself.
that's how I feel. And like, just I don't know, something about that picture doesn't sit well with me. Like with that guy, it looked just like him. Are we sure we're not dealing with like the Highlander or some shit?
His last name is Richmond, not Kurgan.
Yeah, as you make your way back through, not through the town, you mostly walk around the edge of it towards where the circus is set up. It's silhouetted against the sky, and from there, as the road leads up to it, you can hear laughing and crying from children and adults as they're enjoying what rides and games there are. There is the wail of alarms and sirens and ringing bells from the arcade machines and the G-force inducing exhibitions. There are multicolored lights flashing as you approach. You can see the various rides. There's multicolored flashing lights against almost a castle array of also tents and like maybe also a ghost train. And this is the Blue Moon Circus of the Strange and Fantastical, which is just a great way of saying it's just a fun fair with a few other weird things. And as you walk through the circus, there's all manner of sights and displays. As I said, there's a haunted house, there's waltzes, there is a Ferris wheel, there are cages containing things they really shouldn't have. Like, these are clearly exotic animals which are banned under EU and UK law, but somehow they're getting away with it. Of course, there are also jugglers and walkers on stilts, and there is a they've put it as in curiosity show, but looking at it, this is their own way of saying, you're thinking, is this meant to be a freak show? Are they really still doing these things? And there is a palm reader and various other things which are, as I said, considered illegal by modern health and safety standards or simply equality laws. But yeah, they simply don't care and skirt modern day law on such travelling fairs. And of course, there's various local townsfolk who are enjoying it. Most people are under the age of 30 because clearly this is the best thing that's happened in town because they really don't care for the festival.
Yes, well, I'll sort of gesture. Well, it's not really the Highlander around here, this kind of area. They always blame around these places for things like people joining the circus and running off, for things like the fairies and the fae under the mounds. More than a few stories of people losing time or, that kind of strangeness. Not that I'm suggesting that he's a fairy or whatever. That would be kind of strange. But I suppose this is our modern take on it, really, isn't it? All this flashing lights, these wondrous exotic things from beyond the boundaries of a little town like this, showing the people the wonders of cheap candy floss and these little games where you have to win a stuffed animal. I've never really understood the appeal of them, to be honest.
You can all roll, I guess, manipulation plus socialize, because at some point you might want to talk to some of the young adults who are here playing various arcade machines, or I don't know, chucking chucking balls at stacked tins to try and win some, pretty some knockoff Pikachu toy or whatnot.
Two
Excellent.
successes.
1 success.
One
Assuming this
success.
is what I meant to be able to do, 0 successes.
Oh no!
Okay, so
Overwhelmed by the bright lights.
So Hawkins, obviously, I guess given your how tall you are, you're quite imposing, but also this is kind of part of your job as well, is talking to people a bit to kind of reassure them after like their house has like been burnt to a cinder.
His technique would be to go find the mallet game
Yes.
and just wreck that fucking machine.
Oh yeah, it's like
Many
bing,
times possible.
and you're just like, or even like
Oh,
like
really?
the coconut shy. You're just the coconut shy is such a fixed game, but you are slamming these balls, and they're just like just shredding through the coconut, splitting one in half, perhaps even. It hits that hard, and yes, after some conversing, some of the kids actually do recognize, the picture of Tyler, which you mostly now have on your own smartphone because it makes sense for questioning people. And they did see him in the middle of the town the night before. Apparently, he was meant to have left. And one of them says, "Yeah, he was like out of his mind. He was like, I don't know if he was like high on mushrooms, or like he'd been smoking something, but he was like, he just kept mentioning like the stones. It's like weird. It's like totally weird."
Yeah, it is weird. All right. Thanks, kid. And whatever he just won from whatever game he was playing, just hand it over.
Yeah, it's likely some massive like knockoff Disney toy.
A stuffed Mickey Moose.
Mickey the Mouse. Mickey the Moose, yeah, it is Mickey the Moose. Obviously, Tyler, as you're walking around, the look in your face is, obviously you've got a very worried look in your face, and sat outside her tent is Madame Zora. Obviously, she is looking like the stereotypical Roma, palm reader type, and she calls over to you, young sir, young man. You look, you have something on your mind. Come in my tent. Surely I could read your palm, tell you your future, or maybe something more. Maybe you miss a loved one. Maybe you have intentions on finding your true love. Only for £1, only for £1.
I reach in my pocket and I pull out £1, and then I show her the picture, and I was like, "How about just for information, if you've seen this man?"
Oh, of course. Come in. And she leads you into the tent, which is of course filled with random occult icons and objects, which of course are all just simple props, or maybe they're not.
Fucking Charlotte.
She starts, reading, reading your palm, and a good 10 minutes goes by, and it's just such a load of shit. She starts, she basically says like Tyler, has passed to the other side, having like crashed in a car or something, and you're just like, no, none of this is adding up. You're just like, she's clearly cold reading you on all of this stuff as well, and it's just not working. So that was a waste of £1 coin.
I just don't have time for this bullshit today.
As you exit the tent, there is a young man who looks a bit grubby. He's got torn jeans, and he motions you to come over, like to behind the tents, behind the stores. Hey, you looking for your brother?
Yeah. I pulled the picture. His name's Tyler. Have you seen him? Please say you've seen him. Everyone seems to not have seen him.
He strokes his goatee. I think of. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about Zora. She's a complete con. She's really good at it, but like she's.
I don't know about that.
It's a load of bullshit what she does. It's a load of crap. But yeah, look, come here. We'll sit down. He sits you down. At some upturned barrels, and it's clearly where some of the carnival staff, like, sit to get a breather, and he pulls out of his jacket pocket a deck of tarot cards and starts laying them out in a Celtic cross.
Come on, man.
No, seriously, this works. This works. And he lays them out: the High Priestess, the Devil, the Moon, Death, the King of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the Page of Swords inverted, the Queen of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Hanged Man. So what this is saying is that I think there's something not right here in the town, and there's someone that you shouldn't trust, and you're looking for someone, and there's something very old at work here. And if I'm not right, this final card, this is the final outcome, the Hanged Man. Whatever's going to happen, you're going to have a great sacrifice or great, test.
The fuck?
And the Page of Swords inverted, careful of that. Whoever is not to be trusted is not working alone. There are more of them.
Okay, so yeah, we know someone's not to be trusted. We know that. I guess that makes sense. More people, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Sacrifice. Are you a local around here?
I'm not local. No, the locals kind of scare me, especially the older lot. They seem really full on with this place. But yeah, I mean, if you whoever you're looking for, they're still here. I just feel it. I just know it. He also got success on their rolls for conversing with anyone. Okay. Yeah, okay. You, in conversing with some of the locals and that, talk about you talk about Tyler who's missing. You also talk about he had a car. It was this color, this make. You even know the license plate of it because you're able to find out just by literally logging onto accounts or something about how it was hired. One of them does describe having seen a car that matches that in the junkyard owned by Fletcher and Son on the border of the town.
Interesting. Well, I will take that information and go sort of ambling around looking for what the others have got themselves to.
Yeah.
You meet up next to one of the food stalls that sells, obviously, greasy burgers and candy floss.
Together.
Yeah, obviously, together, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's dreadfully noisy and busy here, isn't it? Any luck?
No one wants to talk to me.
I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think they're going to try to... I think someone's trying to kill my brother.
I mean, that was what we were fearing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think they're trying to sacrifice him or something.
Well, you're right. It is starting to sound a little crazy.
Look, I know it's gonna sound weird, but I met with this dude and he had he did a reading and it was just really specific. He said there's someone I shouldn't trust, and I was like, okay, that's Richmond. He's like, there's someone that's working here. Your brother's still here. There's something old at work. And what's old? This festival's old, right?
Well, yes, but I mean, this is a traveling carnival. They're all pros at cold reading people and, figuring this kind of thing out. It's part of the enjoyment, you get told some stuff that isn't necessarily true, but you can feel like it's true and therefore feel like you're touching the occult, the unknown. But they don't, people can't actually,
I talked to somebody that saw him last.
What?
Yeah.
Why didn't you open up with that?
Well, I thought everybody would get their chance, and You had your little bit, and I didn't want to interrupt the little tete-a-tete.
Okay. We're getting to circles here. Just where'd you see him?
Well, speaking of circles, apparently he was talking about the stones, and he was kind of out of his mind the night that he was supposed to have checked out.
Like
He was walking
on
around
drugs.
town, talking about the stones.
Hmm.
And that's the last person that saw him. So maybe we go check these thirsty stones next, considering.
And the car that he, whatever happened, the wrecked car that he was towed in, and that's apparently down at the Fletcher's. There's this place here. Get the map up there. That place there. That's where the cars ended up. I guess they're a junkyard or something.
So wait, you said the car was wrecked?
Well, he had to be towed in, didn't he? Because it broke. Well, I mean, I don't know, but I suppose it is a bit surprising.
Broke down and wrecked.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's two different. I may have misunderstood, but
How far are the stones from here?
A good like, you've got a good like possibly hour walk more so.
Jesus.
I don't suppose anyone's got a car, do they?
This is why I miss the city. There's always a cab.
There's fucking no Uber signal here.
Yeah, I've been noticing that. Like, can't get shit rich reception here.
Yeah, like when you've been trying to bring up anything on your phone, it takes like at least like 5 minutes to download anything. It's like terrible. There is no 4G, that's for certain. 3G is patchy.
I don't know. I think all we're gonna find in that place is the car. Maybe try out the stones. Maybe he's just sleeping off a hangover for the last 4 days.
That's optimistic. There you go. That's thinking positive.
I just don't want to believe he's dead.
I mean, that's a little quick to jump to.
Strange man has his car keys and his contents of his wallet. It's not promising.
Probably sitting in a knife bath somewhere, missing both his kidneys.
Well, I don't think they have such sophisticated technology for removing organs here.
Hold on. Like, I've investigated fires before, and there's a simple method you follow. It's called Occam's razor. Okay? The most likely scenario is the one that the most obvious scenario is the one that has most likely happened. You don't want to come up with 7 different types and conspiracies. So maybe he just left his shit in the hotel. He took something bad. I mean, I know I had some gnarly dreams after having some of that cider. And they just assumed he checked out because he took his shit with him. That is a likely scenario. Let's go find out.
Oh, I guess that's a convincing argument. Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
So you're going to walk all the way to the standing stones?
Yeah, I'm going to buy some sugar rush for the hangover.
You're going to buy what?
I want some cotton candy. I want some candy.
I thought you said Coke bottles, and I thought, what, you're going to get those cheap little, like, squat bottles of cheap cola, which has got like a panda on the front, because that's the cheap kind of cola you can buy in the UK.
Ones which have also got the horrible colour, like the green, the orange, and the...
That's the one.
Yeah.
You can mostly get some...
I'll have some of them as well. I'll
long ice lollies that you suck on, they like slice the inside of your mouth, those kind of weird things as well. Anyway, you walk off a very long walk. As you're going past fields and bushes, there are obviously, there's a blackberry bush that you're able to pick a few off and enjoy. It's still very warm, a bit sweltering, and eventually up and down, some hills, past some streams, you eventually get to the standing stones, which are these five, ancient stones, reddish in color, especially as the sun is setting. They whatever inscriptions may have been on them are incredibly ancient, worn away. There is lichen growing over it. Essentially that's what they are. There isn't much more else to see. There are some mushrooms growing around that likely could well be magic mushrooms. Unless if you really want to try. I mean, you got to be sure. What, are they the right color? I don't know. I don't know my mushrooms.
I mean, I have medicine. Would that be a possibility to identify them?
No, I think you need to have like academics or science, like of a particular...
survival.
Survival might well be good. Yeah.
Biology.
Wits survival for observing.
Yeah, go with wits.
Okay. 3.
It's gonna try some mushrooms or see if they're the right type.
Listen, Hawkins has lived a life.
Hoovering up mushrooms from around ancient stone circles somewhere in England is what a way to go out.
Listen, he's seen his fair share of zip top bags.
Oh my god.
1 success.
Okay.
Yes.
You're certain they're not edible. They're not red caps. You think you can handle them, but you certainly wouldn't ingest them.
Does it look like someone's plucked any recently? Just in coming.
No, not really. No signs of anything like that. No.
Okay, so the brother probably didn't go.
And there's no signs of anyone that's camped nearby.
Right. Well, what's Occam's razor say next?
The simplest solution is the most likely answer. So let's look around the area. I mean, all I know is that I haven't given the whole area a proper look. I just wanted to make sure that if I should be taking these mushrooms home and trying them out for fun later.
Yeah.
Is the wolf pit near the stones?
No.
Okay.
No, it's
very far
a distance in the other way. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, I mean, the best place possibly if you wanted to follow up is you could head towards to try and get into the junkyard and look at the car. There might be something left in there that your brother left behind. And so you set off. The sun is setting as you walk back from from the sunning zones. You go past. And
just realised what one of my skills is. One of my merits is.
What's that? I've forgotten what most of these characters are like.
Psychometry.
Oh, psychometry. Yeah, you could touch things and get like
readings off them.
Readings
yeah.
off them.
What? The keys.
Whoops. So give me the car keys. Give me the car keys back. Give me the credit card back and can I?
We can do it retroactively because you're at the Standing Stones, and I guess it's that kind of location where with everything it being kind of serene, it might mean you tap into those things. So yeah, do a roll for it. Let's just do it like you kind of having a vision. We'll do it that way.
Yeah, I've just seen.
Always read the
this is not going to go well.
Right?
It's like I've just forgotten I have magical powers.
Right.
Well, it's good that I've got this, but it's also a wits and occult roll, which means I have 2 dice because I have nothing in occult.
Willpower.
Willpower. Spend a willpower point, get 3 extra.
Yeah, let's spend a willpower. Let's
It's one shot. Use them resources.
Oh, cool. That's 2 10s on that. Cool. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. 5.
Nice.
Exceptional.
That's exceptional. I need to look up the skill to see what an exceptional result is. For I think it's
walking.
See everything.
It's quite insane.
He just materializes in front of you.
Goes full dead.
For each success, I may ask a single yes or no question of the storyteller.
Oh, okay.
The following, or one of the following questions. For questions pertaining to specific characters, if your character hasn't met the person in question, the storyteller must be described. All right. Right. What questions? So, what questions do I want to ask?
Also have martial arts.
Yeah, I know. I can fight.
Why are we here?
So. Just to run through all of the places. And
You got 5 questions you can ask. Go for it. As you're touching the standing stones, it's almost like you're channeling the very ancient energy of the land. There's mostly a ley line running under these stones right now.
That or the sugar rush kicking in.
Or maybe
The candy floss is tripping me out.
Guys, I've fucking seen things, man.
Or maybe you have like you're just sat there. You're eventually going to wake up, mostly finding yourself lying on the ground, looking at the clouds. Anyway, come on. What are the questions?
So, is the brother in at the circus now?
No.
Cool. Is the brother alive? Is Tyler alive now?
Yes.
I don't like yes/no questions.
Everyone can jump in with suggestions for
Yeah,
questions.
I'm trying to limit things down to certain.
Is there a crazy cult in town?
Yeah, I think we've got that one up.
Yeah.
I guess given the fact that the moor is like woo off, a question like will we find something useful at the moor?
Which would yeah. So, yeah, will we find anything useful in the moor?
No.
Were the out? So this is stuff we already know. So the standing stones were they not the standing stones? The wolf pit is not in the moor, is it?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking the wolf pit is what I meant.
Yeah,
I think
no.
with the
entire it's not there. He's not there. He's not in the wilderness.
Okay. Means he's in the town somewhere.
Is he at the hotel?
Yeah, I was just going to say, is he at the hotel?
Oh yeah, and with that question, that's what floors you. Like you have a vision. You can feel him panting as if he's in a dank, wet room, cold, sweating, and that's what floors you, and you feel somewhere in the town.
Somewhere in the town.
Yeah. Everyone else watches David literally almost pass out and fall on the ground after he was touching the standing stones.
Should we put him in the recovery position?
I have been complaining of a really bad hangover as well the entire time we've been doing this.
I don't know. Wait, did you ask all 5 questions, or?
I've got one more question left, but
What's the other question?
I'm just trying to think of this at the moment.
So when you asked if they're at Heron Hall, they said it would be basically yes or somewhere
In the town.
So I asked, was he at the hotel? And Chris said yes, but then he said he's in the town somewhere.
So these are yes and no onlys.
Yeah. I can ask about emotions and
Wait.
about emotions.
Is Richmond older than 80 years old?
Oh yes, and with that question, you get flashes of Richmond from every part of history going back beyond the Civil War. You even have a vision of him wearing a cavalier hat, like curly hair, fighting in the Civil War at the Battle of Banbury.
Oh
Of
God!
course, the asshole was a cavalier.
Quick, when you say English Civil War, you're talking about War of the Roses?
No. We're talking, fall of Charles I.
Cromwell.
Royalists versus parliamentarians.
Yeah,
Cromwell.
I know we have so many wars.
Not one of the other civil wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's the first Civil War that pops to my mind. Okay.
Well, this was an actual civil war because it was government versus the crown, whereas all the other ones are just like local lords beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Rivals for the throne usually, but yeah.
Anyway, there you go, and you're on the floor. Like you look like your eyes are flickering from these visions, and then you suddenly come to.
Should we?
When you come to, you've got you have
What? Oh.
You'd probably have a wallet in your mouth to stop you from biting your own tongue, because Hawkins is a certified EMT, so he's probably doing like seizure
Yeah,
prep.
right.
The stuff you should do. Yeah.
Sit up and just like spit the wallet out. What?
You checked his mouth that there's no mushrooms in there. You know.
You're with us? You all right?
Yeah. Well, that was weird. That's not happened for years. I've not had that. Oh.
You have
You have
seizures.
Yeah. Do you have epilepsy or a condition you know about?
Just every now and then when I touch something, I get these flashes and images of strange emotions and strange places and things that are going on. This was more powerful than I've ever felt before. Something has really just floored me.
So epilepsy, and you definitely do come from this town.
It's not epilepsy. I got flashes of. I think it's Tyler. He's still alive. And yeah, Richmond. I don't know. He was a cavalier.
He's the Highlander. Oh my god.
Just
I'll
need to process this.
So Jamie, when we went to the carnival, talked to a card-dealing prophet in the back alleys who told him the future, and you've touched some standing stones and been overwhelmed by sensations of knowledge.
Yeah, this shit's weird, man.
I'm beginning to think there's something bad in the beer supply for the whole town, and really we're seeing one of those kind of, what was it? When there were outbreaks during the Middle Ages, when people have the bread would be infected with a kind of fungus, and people would eat the bread, and then they would see things, and they all thought they were seeing the devil or engaging in sort of mass.
No. This has happened before. This has happened in other times in other places. This isn't just for me a one-off thing. I've had these in different parts of the country.
Okay, so operating off the fact that maybe, just maybe, there's something not natural going on here, where would Jamie be, or where would Tyler be?
Jamie be here.
Well, going with the idea that,
hotel.
Yes,
Might
going
be in
with
the
the
hotel.
idea that the man who has your brother's keys and card might indeed be the ne'er-do-well who has done something to him. I mean, where would they stick him? Presumably the hotel's got a basement.
There was something of a scared person in a dark, dank, wet room.
What?
Could certainly be a basement of some kind.
Is Heron Hall near the river or the spring?
It might be near a spring. Yes.
Well, there are springs. There's spring water up. I mean, it's the reason why the town's famous. Why the Romans came here. These things shape the ancient landscape. People believe they're like entrances to the underworld. So people build temples. They build standing stones. If there's springs around the place, you could be somewhere wet. Although I have to say, I don't believe that we are getting psychic visions from standing stones. So
Just need to go back to the hotel and Hawkins. I'm going to let you have some fun with that man.
No. We can't just go. You can't just go in there and start kicking ass and taking names.
You're right. We need to stop off at your house and get a whatever wood splitting axe you have lying about. Then we go to the hotel.
No, you can't just break in that. You have to be careful about this. If there's no one in the basements there and you break in, the police will just arrest you. And then how are you going to help?
Well, at that point, we don't have any
Feel
leads.
better.
I think we can safely assume you're saying all this as you've set off down the hill.
Yeah, we're walking back to town.
As I said, so the sun is setting as you walk back into town, past fields that have been harvested, and past and also along near rough-hewn stone walls that line these fields. And as you get close to town, for a place that should be a festival, and the sun is setting and is low on the horizon, it seems oddly quiet. And from the centre of town, you can hear there is some raised voices and singing and festivity, but the rest of the town around it is deadly quiet. As you're passing and the sun is getting lower and twilight is upon you, you walk past a field and you can't see because the walls are very tall, this stone wall, but you can hear what sounds like animals in the nearby field. And you pop your head over just to have a look, because you hear the cry of some creature in pain. And as you pop your head over, you see some of the townsfolk, and they are crouched around what appears to be a body. In fact, you think it's one of the circus workers. For a minute, you are struck by this vision of horror as one of them looks in your direction, snarling, their faces coated in bloody gore, clutching flesh and offal. More shocking is the fact that, David, it's your father that is chewing on one of the dead circus workers. And with that recognition, as he looks into your eyes, and you realise whatever of your father was there is now gone and replaced by this bestial man, you have a cold chill down your spine, and these cannibals rush towards you.
Just kind of.
Yeah, I think you need to leg it.
I think I need to look.
This isn't right. That's
There's about
that's
half
not.
a dozen of them.
Are they
Let's.
eating?
We're going. I can't deal with that.
I'm running.
I'm going. That's
Six of them?
not my dad. That is not my dad. I am going now.
Excellent.
I get up there.
Colin
So-
runs like a complete lemon. He's clearly not. He's done the minimum running in his life he can possibly get away with. Raw panic is driving me to really sort of pound it as fast as I can.
Whoever looks like they're running the slowest, Hawkins would probably get one arm underneath the crotch, another arm over the shoulder.
Fireman carry.
Just fucking run.
Well,
So if I can just get, what is everyone's speed?
11 plus I have fleet of foot.
Okay, so you're
8.
on 11. Who's on 8?
Me, Chris.
Okay.
Carwin is the Carwin is the person you have to run faster than.
David?
10.
Okay, and Hawkins?
Is a 10 as well.
Right, okay, cool. Right, you will all start with a +2 head start on the chase, because obviously there's a big stone wall that these cannibalistic villagers are going to have to clamber over. So the first thing to do then is you are going to be running your... you're going to be... Because it's a chase, it's going to be running off either your wits or dexterity plus athletics, or... you can also use streetwise, because you are running down from the fields into the outskirts of the town, and you are obviously going to use whatever little alleyways or big bins or anything to hide behind as you try and flee from these cannibals. Okay, and of course they're going to chase after you. So I will roll, but and obviously each turn, you've got to basically get a difference of like in total a +5 difference between you. So right now you're starting on a +2. You've got to get that up to a +5 difference so that they lose track of you. Okay.
Easy enough.
It's easy enough. We say until someone fails abysmally.
So you've never seen me roll dice, have you?
Well, we've seen your zeros so far have been quite Numerous.
Yeah.
Yep. Burning a point willpower for this.
Same.
And also, chase modifiers you'll get if your speed is higher, which everyone else is other than Carwin, you get +1 to your dice pool. And Carwin, you will get no modifier to it.
Okay, good. At least it's not a negative. All I have to do is run faster than the mad, crazed cannibal people. This seems
So we need
fine.
3 successes. Do I want to spend a willpower?
Well, you need to get a net 3 extra successes after you take away theirs. So your successes could go down, and if they get to 0, it's bad. So you've got
Yeah, I'm going to spend a willpower.
Yeah, even though I got all this dice for it, but
I'm now rolling 10 dice, so...
Fear is giving Carwin speed, for I have 3 successes.
Okay. They rolled 4 successes, so already they're catching up.
We just...
Oh no.
What happened?
Well, I got 3, but still.
Okay, they're catching up. They're all hot on your heels. You're pulling over bins as they leap over them, chasing after you, David.
Not out of 10 dice, I got 2 successes.
They are hot on your heels. They are literally right snapping at you. And
Run, David,
you're
run!
into the town itself, running down the back alleyways behind buildings. And as you catch out of the corner of your eye, you can see a procession that's going on as the townsfolk are bringing in people on stretchers. Are these more of the carnival workers that are sacrifices to whatever the hell they're doing? But you don't have time to answer those questions. You're still legging it. That's okay.
Didn't I?
Are we? We're doing another round.
Just another roll, yeah.
Didn't I just
willpower.
end up on
And
0?
willpower on this one.
Yeah, I guess so. I got 2 left.
This is my last willpower point.
Got 1
David,
left.
you could have a plus. You can have a +3 modifier because you know the town. So you know where to
three more dice.
Yeah, so you can run. Nice. You know where to go.
It still won't help.
So speed bonus plus a willpower. I'm rolling 10 dice.
Oh, for crying out loud!
All right.
That's a 10.
Tens
That's
explode.
5, and
It's a
the
9.
10 explodes.
Ooh,
And the 10 explodes. 7.
7. Wow. Okay. I think it's quite clear that Hawkins, is going to pull along other people and is using his absolute wit. There's no other way to describe this. I think you're running along, you see an outhouse behind someone's house, and you kick in the door, leading everyone else through, and you already realise intimately that how unsturdy the walls are for that, and you kick through that wall, smashing through it with your bulk, and just help everyone over a fence, and then another one, and the
Never
townsfolk
jumped over a fence before?
yeah, right. And you can hear the townsfolk and David's father looking for you, sniffing the air, and then head off in another direction, because seven successes is monumental, and I think really helps everyone escape.
Yes.
That.
Yeah, that's just... What
They
the...
were eating that guy.
They're cannibals. Oh, my.
I think that's a good point. After all of that, everyone is going to require to make some sort of test. Breaking point test.
Breaking point, yeah.
Yeah, everyone needs to make a breaking point test. That's going to be a resolve plus
Resolve
composure.
Yep.
Would tolerance for biology help at all?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay.
I feel like my eye for the strange is the opposite of helpful there.
Yeah, right.
Yes, it is really fucked up and weird. Thank you, Eye for the Strange. No successes.
Okay.
All right, so I don't even need to roll for that.
Yeah, I got no successes as well. Yeah! I can do this. I can roll dice.
On a failure, you lose a dot of integrity and you gain the shaken condition. So the shaken condition is you've been severely frightened, and anytime you take an action, you may opt to fail the roll and resolve this condition. So in other words, while you're doing something, while the fear is still coursing through you, you can opt to fail, and that condition will resolve. Obviously, it didn't make sense in the chase because
It makes sense now. I now get to process the fact that I've just seen my dad eating somebody.
Yeah.
I got one success on that, so I'm going to get a condition as well, but not lose integrity.
Yeah. So which condition makes sense on that success? So again, you can be, let's see what makes sense. Shaken.
Spooked?
Yeah, let's go with spooked.
Okay.
So this resolves if condition is resolved when your character's fear of fascination causes you to do something that hinders the group. So I guess now you're really intrigued by what the hell is going on in this town.
I make dumb horror movie choices. I'll be right back.
Yeah, great. Okay. While Connery is away for a moment, we're very close to the end. We've got still a bit of time. We will resolve this, definitely. What do you think is your best plan of action? I'm guessing you want to go to Heron Hall, right?
It seems like, Carwin is obviously making about as much use of contributing to plans as a dead fish. But he is, he will nod along to the Heron Hall appears to be where the evidence is pointing, even if the evidence is fortune tellers and a man touching standing stones. That's where we are now. People are eating
zombies.
People.
We got fucking zombies.
Fucking zombies. All the old, everything is out the window. Everything is now acceptable. We're just gonna fucking go with it. If Jamie, however, is like, no, we're doing something else, Carwin will fold like a wet handkerchief and just go with that instead.
I feel like we're gonna die if we stay here, but I need to save my brother.
It's becoming horribly evident why they might wanted to put him in a box under the hotel.
They're going to eat him if I leave him here.
So yes,
Seems like they're eating people anyway.
While we wait for Connery, anyone that's following along, yes, of course, you can pick up this scenario on the Storyteller Vault, along with other things from Darker Days Radio, which include more folk horror, including a scenario that's based in Sheffield, where I live. So again, it is very, very weird, and that one is more urban weird than folk horror. And then Secret Frequency Files has, again, a lot more folk horror from different parts of the world. So that's what we seem to write for Chronicles of Darkness. And I think Chronicles of Darkness really suits really well.
Yeah. Hopefully, at some point soon, there should be something from me out there as well, which is not going to be folk horror.
I blame Howard Woodingham for a lot of this, for writing some wonderful supplements in the early days of Chronicles of Darkness, and there's some really good books out there.
Shadows of the UK was one of the
fantastic,
really impactful ones from the early lines.
What?
There's not enough folk horror.
What with the evil Wombles?
Yeah, well, okay. Wombles aside, much like was it Roy of the Rangers managed to creep into one of the Mage the Awakening books,
Right.
And Bob the Builder as well, and the Wombles in Bob the Builder is not. Bob the Builder is a version of Bob the Builder. So no one snuck that into one of the early Mage the Awakening books, and the Wombles. But things like Shadows UK. There's a lot of really good. A lot of the British folk already fits the milieu for Chronicles of Darkness very well. And I'm not surprised that it's been quite a big. So you get like, people like yourselves putting together scenarios and stuff for it. It meshes very nicely with the Mortals play as well.
It's really it's dead fun, and it should. I think doing local horror based on what you know is quite fun. Like stuff I know about Germany has been fun to write about for things like that. Like Berlin, we included in Secret Frequencies Files 1, which has some stuff that's set in Berlin, which is for Mage. So again, there's some good stuff. And Sheffield's weird. Like if you pick up that one, that makes this look normal. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good to see. I think more stuff on the ST Vault from people of like horror they write about where they live, because it's really write what you know. It's good fun. And then also, I think folk horror based in New England it would be just great, because you're tapping into, Lovecraftian themes, but without the mythos but with the kind of metaphysics of Chronicles of Darkness. I think would fit really well. Like Boston is something else as well. Like supernaturally, there's some weird legends.
We legit have like Silent Hill outside my city.
Right, yeah, exactly.
In Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah. And like when I was over there walking around, when I was over for a conference, I visited Salem, and once you visited an American town, you really do get. I now get the kind of like the geography of a town in the US, that type of small town, like how it's set up, like the structure of it, the buildings of it. So I have a better sense of that now. So and Salem's lovely. Righty. Yeah, so we're just waiting on Connery just to finish up this, because we're really into the last scene here.
Especially if we get caught by angry cannibals.
Yum, 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 yum.
My dad always hated me. So
now, this is just...
Now he's just living out his fantasies.
That's what this is all about, really.
Useless child!
Dad, have you been turned into a zombie? No, I just hate you.
Fair enough. Just don't tell Mum.
It's kind of fun as well. I mean, a lot of the Chronicles of Darkness games I tend to run recently, obviously, are the supernatural lines, but particularly well for Forsaken, which is the one obviously I've run a huge amount of after working on Second Ed's book as well, and all the rest of the line. And it's funny seeing how the lines contrast, because in Forsaken, a bunch of angry villagers chasing you is like, what? Why? We're not even concerned about this. Do we kill them all, or do we just beat them senseless? When you're playing Mortals, everything shifts quite drastically from the context of the rest of the lines, and when you're a guy with no dots in Brawl, no supernatural powers, no ways to boost your strength, and really nothing at all, a bunch of angry people who decide they're going to eat you is actually pretty quite a big threat. It's I don't know. I think if we'd been caught, we would have all had to hide behind Hawkins as he heroically, uppercutted his way through them.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got martial arts and should technically be quite good at fighting, but
well, maybe
not really.
Not with your dice rolls.
Oh yeah. No, I said technically I should be.
It also changes the context as obviously by setting it in the UK, not having, or even in Europe, firearms is not something easily accessed unless you pilfer a shotgun off a local farmer's grandmother.
Although it's a bit different in Europe. Different countries have different laws. I wrote a bunch of stuff for Poland. Obviously, my wife's Polish, and we live out there. And the guns over there are kind of weird. Not the kind of thing you see around, but apparently easier to get than you might think. And when you are, it's a bit different in the UK because it's a bit hard to smuggle things over. But if you're in one country on the mainland and another country has slightly more liberal gun laws, then it's a bit easier to get things from one country to the next. But yeah, I mean, I take your point. Generally, you're not going to have the sort of the gun-slinging battles that people sort of visualize with the US.
I feel like that's kind of one of the big things on running like games in other time periods. Like I specifically loved my horror games in the 80s because cell phones aren't a thing.
Yeah.
I was running things from the Flood a couple of weeks ago, and that is a real head trip to get yourself around. It's like there's no Google, there's no cell phone. Get your players into that mindset of.
It's cool because
do stuff.
There's not like an instant way to get out of it, which is nice because I feel like 9 times out of 10, even now we probably could have been like used our phones to probably solve a lot of issues. And I'm sure you can always do like, bad reception, but the idea of just not having it would be good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously one of the things we've done with Chronicles of Darkness is the Dark Eras lines quite extensively.
Oh yeah,
and all the distant historical eras, and those are really fun to work on. Partly because you consider the things that are just completely lacking, and there are not always things that people necessarily obviously think of as well with different eras. When we did the Sundered World, the Neolithic era, that's a real one to try and figure out like what is even what things are common with that era that your player's going to even be able to connect with, and what is very much not there. But those eras are always great because they wildly undermine people's assumptions of the basics of the game, what they can rely on, what weapons are available. Are you more worried actually about dying of disease or starvation or cold than something with big claws? Because those are all big issues as well, you know.
I think you can have a lot of good fun now. It'll be soon with release of things like Cults of the Blood Gods, because for V5, I think that really helps support running things like Dark Ages Vampire using the V5 system, because why not? And by having all the information about cults, you can essentially quite easily retrofit the material that was produced for Dark Ages Vampire, but with the modern rule system, with disciplines and amalgams and rituals that are going to be in those books. So you can really, because obviously we're getting the Cappadocians in that book, so
yes,
it's perfect for Dark Ages, and the La Sombra, of course. And I think we're getting descriptions of things like what the Church of Cain, who are predominant in Dark Ages, because you've got classic Nazis being Nazis.
And we just finished. I just got out of a Dark Ages vampire game, which for V5 5e.
Oh right, brilliant. It's Dark Ages Vampire is a classic setting.
Hey,
Anyway,
it wasn't.
back to it. So, you're in someone's garden. There possibly is something you can pick up to use as an improvised weapon if you wish to pilfer someone's gardening equipment. There might well be things like a spade or at least a broom is a stick that you can bash around someone's head. Those kind of things. So at this point, if you want improvised weapons, there are definitely improvised weapons that you can get. A claw hammer is always good.
Do they cut their own firewood?
Unlikely because they live in town, but you could find a small hatchet that they use for helping
You'd be surprised.
I'll take
prune their trees.
A lot of the times, what people don't, small towns will get if they have hearths, is they will get deliveries of wood, but the logs come. You still have to chop the logs up when they come in.
I'll roll a die to see if there's an axe, an actual proper axe. If it's a 6 or more, there's an axe. No, there isn't a proper axe. They have a small hatchet.
What about garden shears?
There's garden shears, yeah.
I'll take that.
So
I will
you can be quite happy.
Take a plank.
Yeah, you've got a variety of nasty objects to do nasty things to nasty people. And I assume you wish to head towards Heron Hall then?
Yep. On the way, can we actually... Are there paper mache masks lying around?
That unlikely that you could find. There may not be. But we'll see. We'll see if you're lucky enough to grab one that someone might have taken off and left behind that you might be able to pick off as you are walking, because you're kind of in the back streets. The main street has this procession going on. There's the smell of cooking meat in the air, which obviously turns your stomach as you are quite aware that it is mostly some cannibalistic feast that is taking place in the town square, where the townsfolk are gathered, dressed in strange robes with these wolf head masks on them, and we have townsfolk of all ages partaking in this food, and they are in the town, and amongst their number, in a more opulent red robe, you're assuming from his voice as he speaks to his, I guess, cult, is clearly Mr. Richmond.
It's that asshole.
Now, perhaps, is the best time for you to go to Heron Hall, because, of course, if everyone's down here, maybe no one's up at the hall.
Yeah. I'm never going to be able to watch Faulty Towers the same way again.
No, exactly. You sneak up around the gathering, past homes, and onto the road leading up to Heron Hall, making your way up to the building, which now from the outside is very dark. There are no lights on inside. it appears it is deserted at this moment. So, I guess the question is, are you going to break in? And if so, how?
Go around one of the back doors and I'll pick a lock somewhere.
Do you have the keys?
Yeah, you can try the back door. Yeah, the keys you have aren't keys for the
Oh,
for
they're just
Harold.
through the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
David,
failed to get those keys.
It's a dexterity plus larceny roll.
Yeah, that is going to be.
Of course,
And
if that fails,
I'm
you can always just
trained.
kick in the door.
You've got one.
I don't want any zombies hearing us.
No.
But you know what my dice rolling's like, so. Walking's ready.
I have a boot just in case.
One success. Yeah, you still haven't broken the lock yet. You haven't got in.
Can't pick a lock.
You can try again.
Yeah, I'll keep going at it. While everybody else is just
You're
laughing.
just going to kick in the door.
I'm going to use spooked and say, fuck this, and just slam the fucking door open.
Excellent.
Just as I'm kind of about to go for it, it's like,
Move.
Yeah, that is something you just roll. You just need to do strength plus athletics. It's going to be the noisiest thing ever.
Yeah, patience is not on his list of traits.
No.
Yeah. All right, this is a decent die pool. Dose. 2 successes.
Yeah, the door slams open and you're into the main you're into the hotel, you're into where like all the kitchen, well, you're into the where like there's mostly like the industrial sized washing machines, that kind of thing. It's where all the management and main work of the hotel is performed. And you sneak in, it's completely dark, and you can't hear a sound in there. You can't hear anyone about. You move through the kitchen. At this point, if you want to change makeshift weapon for sharp knife, by all means do so. There might even be a butcher's chopping knife. There might be a good cleaver there.
I'll take
I'll
one.
pick up a cleaver.
I'm completely unprepared to use it.
I will pick up 2 knives.
I'll get my phone out and put the torch thingy on it and shine it around so we can see.
As you're
lights on.
sneaking around the hotel, there are you make your way into the main lobby, and then there's the library. You have the chance to look around while no one's here.
Remember, I got the feeling that it's possibly underground. Let's see if we can find a cellar, a way into the cellar, or a way into whatever's below here.
Okay.
Look for that.
Intelligence plus wits, I'm guessing, or plus investigation.
Yeah.
I ain't finding crap, am I?
2 successes.
Yeah.
Looking around, there is
2 successes.
you think there's you detect as you on this floor you find the door to the basement. There is a basement. It's mostly where they keep the boiler, possibly where they have an oil burner, because they obviously have to keep the heating going in the winter. They can't rely on a regular power supply. And that would be the next best place for you to look. So you head down there. Is anyone else doing any form of investigation?
I was rooting around the library area, mostly looking for ways down, but I got 2 successes.
Okay. The library has nothing that looks like a way down, but you do find items from the road. There's a cabinet of items found during the Roman excavations. There is a Charon's Obol, a sign that says Charon's Obol, an offering placed in the mouth of the dead. It's made of silver and has upon it inscribed, looks like the head of Medusa. Do you have an eye for the strange?
Yes, I do.
That looks really, really odd. Very weird. You've never seen anything like it.
Can I have it?
Can I have it?
Is it behind glass or?
It's behind glass.
Oh, it's just me. And then I'll put an elbow through there.
Yeah, you put an elbow through the very thin glass and you pluck out the coin. Maybe you take a few other things as well.
Yeah, I'm quite interested in the coin. Something's speaking to me that this is particularly odd, so I'm going to keep it about me.
As you're rooting around, and I'm sure Jamie, you note that there's the basement, the door to the basement out back. You hear a car pull up outside. You see the lights flash along the windows.
Company.
The door opens, and you can hear feet on the gravel.
Basically, I will hurry to wherever the indication of the door being found was, to get downstairs and get away from the library area.
Did anyone else do any investigation roll and get any successes?
Failed. Surprise, surprise.
I mean, I might have tried looking around the front desk.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Go for it.
Probably a load for keys, if nothing else.
One success.
Yeah, you don't find any keys, but you do look over the guest book is open. Everyone is checked out.
Oh.
They left the hotel. All the guests left the hotel after 2 p.m. that day.
Well, that just confirms the pattern. Okay, downstairs.
Yeah, and with that, as you hear people, you all leg it into the basement. And yeah, you can, as you're in the basement, you close the door behind you. You're working your way down, trying to find, looking through the rooms. There's rooms that are filled with like all manner of paraphernalia, like paint cans, cleaning equipment. There's a floor polisher. You get the idea. There's a very big freezer. Don't worry, you mostly decide not to look in the freezer because you don't know what you could find. But there are freezers. And everyone can make a Wits plus perception roll. Wits plus composure roll, sorry. Yeah.
Maybe it's all just a big, setup, like one of those fake out TV things. And
Gotcha.
Yeah,
You've been punked.
2 successes.
Wow.
You can sense there's a flow of air which doesn't make sense. Something almost as it pulsating. And as you track it, you come to a standing fridge, maybe.
There's a
and
rhythmic
it's locked.
flow.
Does anyone want to try and break the lock on it? You do have a axe.
Step back. Let
Yeah,
Hawkins do his
I don't
magic.
think we really need to roll for this.
Just
Slam the lock
Hawkins,
off.
off you go.
And as you open, there is beyond it what looks like carved into the bedrock under the hotel, a staircase leading into the darkness below. And you can hear above you voices, one of which is distinctly Mr. Richmond.
Bet this isn't on the blueprints.
Well, we either go back into dealing with Richmond, or we continue forward into the great unknown.
I prefer the unknown to the cannibals, to be honest.
Yep, let's go to hell.
Shine the light ahead.
You descend the staircase again. As I say, it's carved from the rock itself. You get the sense that it's incredibly ancient. It's musty. It's damp. There is, as I say, there's moss growing on the wall. Some of it is almost. You get the sense it's the moss, or is it a fungus? Is it slightly luminous? And you can hear voices behind you getting closer. Clearly, Richmond and his cultists are descending into the basement, following you. You keep heading down, following the way that this passageway descends into the rock, deeper underground, until it opens up into a large cavern. Within this cavern, there are shackles on the wall. There are tendrils spilling out from this opening in the floor. These tendrils, again, are luminous, a kind of greenish blue glow to them. And these tendrils reaching out and up the walls. And against the wall, shackled to it, is Tyler. These tendrils have grown up his legs, and some of them, you can clearly see, have wormed their way into his flesh. One particularly thick one has dug itself into his belly button. He is pallid and he is panting, exhausted. He looks up at you. Jamie! Jamie! You're here! You're here!
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I rush over and I try to get the tendrils off him.
Don't pull! Don't pull! As you start pulling at the one that's in his belly, he almost grimaces in pain. And as you hear that, as you see him wince, those of you at the end, mostly at the entrance to the cavern, you can hear footsteps echoing down the corridor towards you.
How many? Can we roughly tell how many people are coming down?
It's echoey. You can't make out numbers.
Is there okay? So at the bottom of this stairway, was there a door?
No, it's just an opening into this cavern.
All right. So
I'm going to run over and try and lockpick the chain, see if we can get.
That's a good idea. You can start doing that if you want.
Yep, I'll do that.
Connery and Chris, what do you want to be preparing to do?
Carwin is caught between generally panicking and looking at the thing with the tendrils coming out of it.
You've got an eye for the strange.
Yes,
You start
that's
looking at
pretty
it.
fucking strange, isn't it?
You're quite shaken. I think we're gonna say that. Are you shaken or you spooked?
I am shaken, not stirred.
Yeah. You
sorry.
are. I'm going to be a git to you. You are drawn to it, as in you look at it and you're just taken in by this strange thing. It's not a pit. Those aren't stones round the rim of it. That's teeth. This thing is breathing.
I'm going to spend some time staring at it while I try and figure out. I'm getting an nagging feeling about the coin I picked up.
Your condition is now cleared. You will get to act after people arrive. You're just not going to have a chance to prepare. You're going to be surprised, effectively.
Yeah.
Conrad, you've got a big axe. You're mostly going to prepare to do something.
I'm gonna sidle up to the corner of the wall, just on the other side of the stairwell, and basically, as soon as somebody comes down those stairs, wheel around with a big old swing.
Indeed.
Aiming for knees.
Yep. So we're gonna let David. You can do your lock picking.
Oh, I rolled that while you were talking and got two successes.
Okay, you get the first manacle done, and with Jamie, what do you want to do? Because obviously, I guess you're just trying to help get your brother prepared to break free, or you're struggling at the other chains. You could try and pull the chain from the wall.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely try that.
You can just do strength plus athletics. And then, Conrad, you can just roll a straight... You can just do a straight improvised attack. It's surprise. So this person is going to have 0 defense against this.
Oh, boy.
Because why not?
So strength weaponry?
Yep.
Would this qualify as an axe?
Yep.
Yep.
And it's like, I guess, a +2 on the damage that will be when it hits.
When it hits, yeah. 6, and I'm going to spend a point of willpower.
Oh, God.
So, 9 dice. Batter up with 4 successes, so that would be 6 lethal damage.
Yeah. I think we can quite happily say you slice through this person's leg, shearing it apart with a spurt of blood, and this poor cultist in his white robes with this wolf head mask falls forward screaming.
Poor cultist.
I
Come
know.
on.
The other cultist, there's about 2 others, run into the room, and one of them tries to help their friend. The other one turns, looking at you, having seen you, and will just try and engage with you hand to hand, grabbing onto the axe and try and grapple with you, to try and disarm you. Good luck on that.
Contested grapples. Okay.
Contested grapple, like that's gonna work. Yeah, they're really not gonna. Yeah, we'll see how. I'm sure you're gonna beat them because you're gonna just. At this rate, you could literally just throw them to the other side of the room with a scrapple. But yeah, how'd you do?
Oh, let's see here. So that's. I won't add willpower to this one, so it's just going to be 6 dice. That's a reroll. Hey, 3 successes.
Yeah, you grapple and move more into the center of the cavern. You still got hold of your axe there, trying to pry it from your grip, but to no avail. And you push them away, freeing yourself from them, ready to swing it again. And then, of course, Harold Richmond walks in, and he just pulls the mask off, looking at you, and you realise the yellowness of his eyes. How dare you! How dare you desecrate this holy place! And he pulls open his robes at the belly, revealing the sheer monstrosity that his entire stomach is itself a gaping mouth that opens up with teeth and a slathering tongue, and he rushes towards. Because obviously Hawkins, you're involved in things. So actually, I don't even gonna roll. I think Carwin, he's going for you. You turn round in sheer panic and horror as this maw in his belly lunges towards you. He's almost like pulled along by it, as if he's not. The rest of his body is some addition to this gaping maw, and he attacks with it. It's a horrid maw. It costs a time to use. It manifests. It does +3 lethal damage. It gets.
Well, my defense is 3.
Your defense is 3. That's going to be very, very.
I'm going to spend a point of willpower and make my defense 5.
That's a very good idea. I think that's a quality, capital idea there. He misses. He's the snapping maw is against you as you turn round, and you sidestep away, panicking, and what do you guys want to do? It's background. Everyone's got actions. We're going to just go back and forth on it. We're not going to deal with initiative too much because it's going to slow things down. I want to get this complete very soon. So, starting with David, what do you want to do?
I'm going to turn to the brothers. You've got this, okay? I'm going to go help.
Yeah.
And
brandishing your
run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to run over and I'm going to use my martial arts because I apparently trained in martial arts.
Go for it.
And I've trained with kicks, so I'm going to do a flying kick at Richard.
Wow.
Try, if I can, if this goes well, to kick him into the hole in the ground.
He has a defense of 3.
Cool. So it's going to be Brawl and Dex?
Yep. Strength plus Brawl.
Strength plus Brawl and Trains. That's cool.
And I can imagine, Connery, Hawkins is going to wield that axe like it's a part of his own body, like an extension of his entire force. David, did you hit?
I got 4.
Oh, that's a meaty hit.
You knock Richmond to the ground, close to the pit. You've not knocked him into it, but you've knocked him off his feet. He's on the ground, the maw in his belly, snapping away.
With my martial arts level 3 as well, each round that I'm next to him, he'll take 1 extra bashing damage.
Okay, cool.
Turn.
So he's taking a point of damage as well. He's taking a point of bashing.
So he's on the ground near the pit?
Yeah.
I actually would probably, instead of swinging the axe at a cultist,
you're gonna
grab a cultist and throw the cultist into
There we go.
into Richmond and hopefully get them both to roll in together.
Oh, that's yeah. Okay, go on then. Do that. Just do a strength plus brawl. This is going to be.
I've got 2 willpower left, so I'm going to use one
The
of them.
defense is 2.
His defense is 2. All right, so
This is
strength
going to be
3,
grotesque.
roll 2. It's a grapple, so that's +1, plus another 3 for the willpower, but -2 for the defense. There we go. Die pool is assembled. 2 successes.
Yeah, you. I'm going to say you hit. You grab him by his robes. You chuck him in the direction of Richmond. It's not enough force to have the cultist push Richmond into the pit. What actually happens is that horrific snapping jaw. It doesn't know friend from foe. Literally, just kind of like almost, kind of like a waste dispenser in your sink, just minces through the person, shredding him in half. Yeah, like a piranha almost. Right, anyone else that's got actions? We still got. I still got a cultist who attack, but Cohen, what do you want to do?
Carwin is going to shriek in terror and he's got a fucking knife. He's just going to start, the frenzied stabbing thing at the guy on the floor. He's not in his right mind, and he is going to try and
I'm going to let you have a moment. I'm going to let you have a moment here. Carwin, what have you got on you?
Yeah, I've got the coin.
What do you think it might do?
Well, I was thinking about chucking it in the pit, but
do you want to try it?
I do, but but at the same time, he's.
Do you want to try it?
That was my original plan.
Do it!
Okay, fine. So he's okay. He's gonna get, because he's no longer shaken. He's gonna get a grip of himself before he just starts doing like the start stabbing and don't stop till no one's moving thing. And then because he had his hand in his when Richmond came at me, he was thinking about grabbing the coin and throwing it in.
Yeah.
Just the connection he made there with it's like a mouth to the underworld, and the oval is the payment to the underworld. So he will. Yeah, shriek something that's meant to be something that let that pay for the ferryman or something, but God knows what it comes out as, and we'll wing the fucking thing into the moor.
And as you do so, all of the cultists drop to the ground, screaming, tearing, clawing at their faces. Richmond, the mouth, it's almost like it kind of inverts itself and starts eating on Richmond itself. The tendrils around the chamber begin to become dry and blacken and flake away, and the one that's buried itself into Tyler also releases itself, and the colour comes back to Tyler. You wrench him free from his shackles, and all of you just frickin' leg it.
Yep.
Fuck this shit.
And that is the end of The Hunger Within.
Hunger Within Richmond.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I hope everyone enjoyed watching this. I hope everyone enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
Fun.
I feel like, these characters this is clearly the starting point for a game of Hunter, where you're gallivanting through the UK, solving crimes, killing things in a very British folk horror way.
Definitely tier 1 compact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine we go to the scrapyard, grab the car because we have the keys for it, and we just drive the fuck out of it.
Get out of Dodge.
Obviously, again, everyone that's watching this, and obviously watching all the panels from Onyx PathCon, and again, thank you for Gehenna Gaming for obviously helping organise and set up this, and general maintenance of just Zoom rooms and everything else. Thank you to David, Chris, Conry, and Nick for playing excellent characters, playing totally balls to the wall as it should be with these. It was pretty perfect. Again, if you head over to onyxpathcon.com, please, please donate. Also, we've got a list of people that are in the chat. What I didn't say at the start of this is everyone in the chat, as well as I think there's a Dark Eras 2 that's up for grabs. I will be organising with Gehenna Gaming, so someone randomly selected from our viewers and commentators will win the entire Darker Days Radio bundle from Storyteller Vault, which is about 6 books. at this
Wow.
point. So you will get Venice en Masse, you'll get Secret Frequencies Files 1 and 2. You will get Sins Washed Away, The Hunger Within, and also what's the other one? There's another one. I can't think
The
of
other
it.
one.
The other one. There's another one. Yes, that's everything. So thank you for watching, and thank you for everyone again. And with that, good night and enjoy the rest of Onyx PathCon, and hopefully we'll see you soon on Gehenna Gaming for other excellent games, because you'll see us running 40k at some point soon. So ta-ra for now.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.